Chapter 2013. On the surface, there were only a few great emperors in Yuan Mountain, but in reality, there were definitely more than that. It was normal for Lu Ming to have a great emperor behind him. "Old man, it's you." Great Emperor Tianluo narrowed his eyes and looked at Uncle Kong. "Lu Ming is the Great Evolution Pill Hall's Hallmaster. If you dare touch him, I'll kill you," Uncle Kong said slowly, but his voice was filled with killing intent. Many people were shocked. This old man was really domineering and powerful. If Great Emperor Tianluo wanted to kill Lu Ming, he would kill Great Emperor Tianluo. Could it be that this old man was that powerful? "Kill me? Dan Kong, you're too confident. Even if you were at your peak, you might not be able to do anything to me. Now that you're injured, are you my match?" Great Emperor Tianluo sneered. In the battle with the Evil God tribe, several great emperors had been injured in order to send the Evil God tribe's great emperor through the gate of world viewing. Great emperors had the protection of the Great Tao, so it was difficult for them to be injured. However, once they were injured, it would be difficult for them to recover. During this period of time, great emperors like the sacred Great Emperor were in seclusion to recover. However, Uncle Kong and Great Emperor Wuxia's injuries had not healed, and their battle strength was not at their peak. That was why Great Emperor Tianluo said that. "Despicable. The great emperors were injured in the battle with the Evil God tribe, but they're here to take advantage of us." Huang Li couldn't help but roar. Great Emperor Tianluo's gaze swept over Huang Li with a cold light. Huang Li was fearless and glared at Great Emperor Tianluo. Clang. Uncle Kong didn't say anything else and directly unsheathed his sword. At this moment, Uncle Kong revealed his peerless sharpness. He had transformed from a haggard old man into a peerless swordsman. Boom! Facing an injured Uncle Kong, Great Emperor Tianluo didn't dare to be careless. He circulated his power to the extreme, and a large seal floated above his head as he cautiously confronted Uncle Kong. "I'm afraid the two of you won't be able to save Lu Ming." At this moment, a cold voice rang out. A figure floated above the heads of the He clan's experts. Many people's hearts trembled. Great Emperor He clan. Great Emperor He clan had appeared. 3 great emperors from the 3 great emperors' forces. Lu Ming was really finished today. Emperor Wuxia and nameless Great Emperor. Lu Ming had 2 great emperors on his side, but they couldn't fend off 3 great emperors. Moreover, there were so many experts from the 3 forces. On Lu Ming's side, if a great emperor didn't help him, Lu Ming would be dead for sure. Many people sighed. Boom! The great emperor of Wuxia released a powerful aura. However, the great emperor of the Heng family also released his aura and locked onto the great emperor of Wuxia, preventing him from helping Lu Ming. "You're a great emperor, yet you still need several people to join forces to deal with a junior. You're really a disgrace to the great emperors," Emperor Wuxia said. "Lu Ming tried to drive a wedge between us, so he must pay the price. Also, we came here today to deal with Lu Ming. There's one more thing we need to tell you, Wuxia. From now on, Celestial City belongs to He clan and Heng clan. The same goes for Yuan Shan Holy Courtyard. Wuxia, you should leave Celestial City," Great Emperor He clan said coldly. What? Many people were enraged when they heard that, especially Lu Ming and the rest of the people from the Sacred Academy of Yuan Mountain. Heng clan and He clan wanted to take over Yuan Shan Holy Courtyard for themselves. It couldn't be described as despicable. What bullshit great emperors. I think you're just a few old dogs, shameless old dogs." Lu Ming clenched his fists and laughed. His words made Great Emperor He clan, Great Emperor Heng clan, and Great Emperor Tianluo squint their eyes. They looked at Lu Ming with sharp eyes. As for the others from the 3 forces, they were furious. "Lu Ming, what did you say? How dare you insult the great emperors? You're courting death." The other people from He clan and Heng clan roared. "Am I wrong? In my opinion, your 3 great emperors are not even as good as the Evil God tribe. The 3 great emperors of Yuan Shan Holy Courtyard and a few other great emperors risked their lives to protect Yuan Shan Holy Courtyard. Great emperors Tianhua and Han Tian are still alive. The other great emperors were injured because of this, but you guys took advantage of the situation." Not only are you afraid of death, but you also want to seize the territory of those who fought against the evil god tribe. If you're not dogs, what are you? No, I'm wrong. Even dogs are loyal. Calling you dogs is an insult to dogs. Lu Ming sneered again and again. He felt a ball of fire burning in his chest. Many people were angry, but the people from He clan, Heng clan, and Daluo Heaven sect were red in the face and looked at Lu Ming angrily. You speak so righteously as if you've made a great contribution. Lu Ming, what are you doing when the evil god tribe invaded? A young man from He clan and Heng clan couldn't help but ask. I'm fighting against the evil god tribe. Lu Ming said loudly. Fighting against the evil god tribe? It sounds good, but you're just taking the opportunity to kill a few small fries. What's the use of that for the big picture? Don't put yourself so high. A young man from He clan mocked. He, like ancestor, like descendant. At this time, Emperor Wuxia sneered with a hint of sarcasm. Then his voice suddenly rose. Then I'll tell you today, what did Lu Ming do in the battle against the evil god tribe? The void passage opened by the evil god tribe was sealed by Lu Ming. Emperor Wuxia's voice was loud and clear, like a gust of wind, blowing in all directions, spreading throughout the entire celestial city. What? The void passage was sealed by Lu Ming? How is that possible? With Lu Ming's cultivation, how could he do it? Many people showed an expression of disbelief. Absolutely impossible. You're deliberately raising Lu Ming's status. With Lu Ming's cultivation, how is that possible? Who would believe such a thing? Heng clan, and Daluo Heaven sect suddenly shouted, refuting Emperor Wuxia. Lu Ming used the law of primal chaos to revive an ancient chaos stone plate. Back then, during the battle to seal the void passage, it was us old guys who assisted Lu Ming and finally succeeded in sealing the void passage. I swear in the name of the great emperor, this is absolutely true. If it wasn't for Lu Ming, the land of Yuan Mountain would still be caught in the flames of war. Now they want to kill the meritorious subject. Are you all so indifferent? Emperor Wuxia's voice spread throughout Celestial City. He didn't say it to the people of Heng clan, He clan, and Daluo Heaven sect, but to the others in Celestial City. Many people's eyes changed. Emperor Wuxia, speaking in the name of the great emperor, there was no mistake. They didn't expect that so many things had happened behind the scenes in the battle that day. They didn't expect that the greatest meritorious subject was actually Lu Ming. However, Lu Ming had never mentioned this matter. If it wasn't for the three major forces forcing Emperor Wuxia to tell the truth, no one would know. Now, the three major forces wanted to kill the greatest meritorious subject of the evil god tribe. Whoosh. Chapter 2014. In a flash, many people joined Lu Ming's team, including true emperors and empty emperors. They released their auras to help Lu Ming's team fight against the three major forces. A bunch of small fries who think they can change the outcome of the battle. Great Emperor Tianluo said coldly. Wuxia, you've said so much just to find a few more helpers. But what's the use of a bunch of small fries? Attack and kill Lu Ming. Kill anyone who stands in our way. Great Emperor Heng said. Boom. Great Emperor Heng's aura burst out and locked onto Great Emperor Wuxia. At this moment, apart from Lu Ming, the auras of the powerhouses from the three forces locked onto the rest of the people. Which one of you will attack and kill Lu Ming? Great Emperor, he said coldly. I'll kill him. A middle-aged man in his 50s stepped out from the He family. A terrifying aura swept towards Lu Ming like a tidal wave. This man was called He Gao, a small emperor realm void emperor. He had just broken through to the small emperor realm and was a one-star void emperor. This was a good opportunity for him to show off in front of Great Emperor He. Perhaps, Great Emperor He would reward him. Martial Emperor. Huang Ling, Long Chen, Luo Tianyi and the rest were shocked. The teachers of the Origin Mountain Sacred Institution, Phoenix Palace, Divine Elephant Sect, and Bing Mu were shocked. They wanted to attack but they realized that they were locked onto. The auras of the three major forces locked onto them. As long as they moved, they would be attacked by lightning. Moreover, those who were targeting them were very strong. Clang. Uncle Kong made his move. Sword chi whistled and a terrifying sword light slashed towards Higao. "Old man, I'm your opponent." Great Emperor Tianluo shouted. The seal vibrated and shot out a divine light, blocking Uncle Kong's sword light. Then, the seal vibrated and charged towards Uncle Kong. Sword chi whistled as the battle between Uncle Kong and Great Emperor Tianluo broke out. The two exchanged a few blows and rushed into the dark void to fight. Boom! At the same time, Great Emperor Wuxia also exchanged a blow with Great Emperor Heng from a distance. Great Emperor Wuxia couldn't spare any time to help. His strength was originally slightly stronger than Great Emperor Heng's, and he'd defeated Great Emperor Heng the last time they fought. But now that he had yet to recover from his injuries, he might be at a disadvantage against the Heng clan's Great Emperor. Bang! Bang! Higao stepped into the void. With every step he took, the void trembled. His aura became stronger and stronger. Like a storm, it pressed down on Lu Ming. He was like a giant looking down on Lu Ming. "Lu Ming, it's your honor to die by my hands." Kill. Higao's palm was like a knife as he slashed down at Lu Ming. A pale white saber light filled with coldness caused the temperature of the place to plummet. "Fight!" Lu Ming shouted. He took a step forward and the aura on his body surged wildly. All the saint power in his body gathered at his fingertip and he pointed out. The energy between heaven and earth gathered crazily at Lu Ming's fingertip. Then, an extremely condensed finger force burst out and collided with Higao's saber light. Ding! There was a sharp sound of collision and the force rolled out. Higao's saber light shattered and turned into nothing. It was blocked. Many people couldn't help but widen their eyes. The attack of a martial emperor expert had been blocked by Lu Ming. The most shocking thing was that Lu Ming had blocked his opponent's attack and didn't even take a step back. What terrifying combat strength! Many people exclaimed. Higao's eyes were filled with anger. Although he hadn't used his full strength in the previous attack, Lu Ming was unscathed and didn't even take a step back. He felt embarrassed. Moreover, he glanced around and saw that the He clan's patriarch's face had darkened. His heart sank. Did the He clan's great emperor have a bad impression of him? Damn it. It's all Lu Ming's fault. I'm going to tear him into pieces. Higao roared in his heart and a cold, murderous intent appeared in his eyes. Kill! Higao shouted. The martial emperor expert's power of the world circulated wildly. His palm turned into a dazzling saber light and slashed out, causing heaven and earth to shake. Lu Ming narrowed his eyes slightly. His figure moved. Instead of retreating, he charged toward Higao. Boom! Boom! Lu Ming punched continuously. Illusions of the prison-suppressing monument appeared and collided with Higao's saber light. The illusions of the prison-suppressing monument exploded, but the saber light was also blocked. Song of the Four Seasons. After failing to take down Lu Ming, Higao became anxious and used the He clan's divine skill, Song of the Four Seasons. His saber force suddenly changed. At first, it was like winter snow. Then, it turned into spring. In the next moment, it was like the scorching sun in the sky. The saber force changed and its power increased greatly. It shattered the prison-suppressing monument that Lu Ming had condensed. The saber light continued to attack Lu Ming. Lu Ming retreated continuously. Kill! The moment Lu Ming retreated, Higao's saber force became even more ferocious. It swept toward Lu Ming crazily. Chi-chi! At that moment, Lu Ming used the chaotic tribulation finger. He pointed out several fingers with his right hand and the finger force collided with Higao's saber light. Endless runes appeared on Lu Ming's left hand. A true dragon roared and pounced toward Higao. Insignificant skill. Higao shouted. A saber light burst out and defeated the true dragon. However, the true dragon turned into endless runes and spread toward Higao, trying to seal him. The power of combining 3 scrolls of the 9 scrolls of array formation was indeed very mysterious. Higao's expression changed slightly. The power of the world burst out and shattered the endless runes. Next, the two fought fiercely. In the blink of an eye, they had exchanged more than 10 moves. Higao was indeed very powerful. Although he had just become an empty emperor, he was a martial emperor after all. His combat power far exceeded that of a quasi-emperor. Every move of his contained the power of the world and was extremely powerful. Lu Ming relied on the use of 2 laws to barely block the attack. But even so, everyone was still shocked. Lu Ming was only an absolute saint and had not reached the complete absolute saint. He was only at the peak of the absolute saint realm. However, he could fight against a martial emperor and block him. This was too shocking. Many experts from the He clan, Heng clan, and Daoyuo Heaven sect were shocked. With Lu Ming's combat power, if he became an empty emperor or even a true emperor in the future, how powerful would he be? What if he became a great emperor? Thinking of this, they felt a chill in their hearts. Even the great emperors of the He clan, Heng clan, and Tianluo Heaven Emperor had cold looks in their eyes. The more talented Lu Ming was, the more he deserved to die. Go to hell! He Gao had not taken down Lu Ming since the start of the battle. He became more and more impatient. Originally, with his temperament, he would not be like this. The main reason was that he, a martial emperor, could not take down Lu Ming after so many moves. Under the watchful eyes of so many people, he could not accept it. That was why he was like this. His saber aura became fiercer and fiercer. He could not wait to cut Lu Ming into pieces. Destruction, chaotic calamity finger. At this moment, Lu Ming suddenly pointed a finger. Chapter 2015. Lu Ming used his strongest move. A huge chaotic calamity finger was formed, and it was covered with array runes. It was the initial combination of the destruction scroll and the chaotic calamity finger. Bam, bam. The chaotic calamity finger blasted out, and He Gao's saber light shattered. He Gao's expression changed, and he roared. A world seemed to appear on his body, and he slashed out. The saber light seemed to contain a world. Boom. The chaotic calamity finger was finally destroyed by He Gao, but He Gao retreated 10 miles. A martial emperor had been defeated by Lu Ming. Many people gasped, and they were so shocked that they couldn't speak. He was only a peak absolute saint, but he had defeated a martial emperor. No one would believe such a battle result. Such a battle result could scare people to death. Ah, damn it. He Gao roared. He had lost all his dignity today. Even if he could kill Lu Ming, it would be a stain on his life, and it might even become his inner demon. Is this the martial emperor of the He clan? Is this all he has? He is indeed worse than a pig. Not only is his character bad, but his combat strength is also bad. Lu Ming mocked. You. He Gao was so angry that his chest heaved up and down, and he almost vomited blood. Calm down. He is deliberately provoking you. Use all your strength to kill him and wash away your shame. A voice entered He Gao's ears. It was the voice of the great emperor of the He clan. The voice of the great emperor of the He clan seemed to have a magical power that calmed He Gao down. He knew that he had been too anxious, and he hadn't fully unleashed his combat strength. Buzz. A saber appeared in his hand, and the saber light tore through the air. It was extremely sharp. As He Gao's power of the world poured in, the saber's aura became stronger, and the terrifying saber force kept pressing down on Lu Ming. This was an imperial weapon. The power of an imperial weapon controlled by a martial emperor was completely different from when a martial emperor controlled it. Only a martial emperor could unleash the full power of an imperial weapon. Boom. A world floated above He Gao's body. It was obviously not complete and it was filled with chaos, but it still gave people a terrifying pressure. Kill. He Gao shouted and slashed down with his saber. The power of this slash was a lot stronger than before. Lu Ming's eyes narrowed. He pushed his cultivation base to the limit and pointed out. It was still the annihilation chaos finger of calamity. However, this time, when the blade light slashed down, the chaotic finger of calamity shattered. The terrifying power rushed towards Lu Ming, causing Lu Ming to retreat quickly. This is the true strength of a martial emperor. Lu Ming suppressed the surging qi and blood in his body as he muttered to himself. In the end, his strength was still slightly weaker than that of a martial emperor. If he reached the peak of the absolute saint realm, he was confident that he could fight with He Gao. Looks like Lu Ming is still no match for him. A martial emperor is a martial emperor after all. Lu Ming is only a martial emperor at the pinnacle of the absolute saint realm. However, the fact that Lu Ming can fight a martial emperor to this extent is already terrifying enough. Some people were discussing, Lu Ming, I won't let you die so easily. I'll make you suffer until you die. He Gao approached Lu Ming step by step. His cold voice rang in Lu Ming's ears. I was just playing with you earlier. Now I can send you on your way. At this moment, Lu Ming smiled faintly. His eyes were filled with murderous intent. Earlier, he had fought with all his might only to test the limits of his combat strength. Many people were stunned. What did Lu Ming mean? Did he want to kill He Gao? Send me on my way? Ha, you're really boasting shamelessly. You want to anger me with this, right? Unfortunately, it won't go as you wish. Kill. He Gao shouted. His body exploded with a dazzling light. His entire body seemed to have merged with the saber in his hand. He turned into a terrifying blade light and attacked Lu Ming. The blade light broke through the air and whistled through the air. It was terrifying. Many people's hearts were in their mouths. Perhaps Lu Ming was going to die under this blade. In an instant, the blade light was close to Lu Ming. Oh no! At this moment, Huang Ling, Long Chen, and the others were shocked. At this moment, Chang Zhe from Phoenix Palace and Divine Elephant Sect, as well as Bing Mu and the others, wanted to help. However, the experts from the He family, Heng family, and Daluo Heaven sect flashed and blocked their way. Master! Lu Xiangxiang shouted. She wanted to rush over, but one of the experts on the other side released a burst of energy. Lu Xiangxiang's figure flew back. Just when everyone thought that Lu Ming was going to be killed by this blade, they saw a sword light. The sword light lit up in Lu Ming's hand and slashed at the blade light that He Gao had turned into. Then, an inconceivable scene appeared. The sword light slashed past and the blade light broke into two from the middle. Bam! The blade light shattered. Then, everyone saw He Gao frantically retreat 100 miles away. His eyes were wide open as he stared at Lu Ming. He Gao spat out two words with difficulty. Then, a line of blood appeared between his eyebrows and quickly spread to his entire body. Rip. He Gao's body was split into two and fell to the ground. He was dead. He Gao was dead. The scene fell into a dead silence. Just now, He Gao clearly had the absolute advantage and wanted to kill Lu Ming with one slash. Everyone thought that Lu Ming was most likely dead. But now, why was He Gao the one who died? The sword of the Celestial Emperor. You can actually control the sword of the Celestial Emperor. A true emperor from the Heng family shouted. Everyone's gaze was on Lu Ming's hand. Lu Ming was holding a stone sword in his hand. The sword of the Celestial Emperor. Many people's hearts trembled. Lu Ming could actually control the Heavenly Emperor's sword and unleash its power to kill He Gao with one slash. How could a mere absolute saint control the Heavenly Emperor's sword and unleash its power? They naturally did not know that Lu Ming had a technique to control the Heavenly Emperor's body. The Heavenly Emperor's sword had merged with the Heavenly Emperor's body. Now, the energy stored in the Heavenly Emperor's body had reached 12%. If Lu Ming could control the Heavenly Emperor's body, he could naturally control the Heavenly Emperor's sword as well. Just now, Lu Ming had controlled the Heavenly Emperor's sword and easily killed He Gao. Who else wants to kill me? Lu Ming held the stone sword and glanced at the He family, Heng family, and Daluo Heaven sect. Humph, a mere absolute saint. You think you're invincible just because you can barely unleash a trace of the Heavenly Emperor's sword's power? The Heavenly Emperor's sword should belong to the Heng family. Hand it over. An expert from the Heng family stepped forward. A terrifying aura crazily pressed toward Lu Ming. Martial Emperor. This person was also a minor Emperor Void Emperor. But this person's aura was many times stronger than He Gao's. He was probably an expert among the Void Emperors. If you want the Heavenly Emperor's sword, come and get it. Lu Ming held the sword and faced the expert from the Heng family. Boom. Chapter 2016. The expert from the Heng family was cautious and attacked from a distance. He reached out his hand and grabbed at Lu Ming. A huge claw was formed and grabbed at Lu Ming. Kill! Lu Ming shouted. He held the sword with both hands and slashed down. A ray of sword light slashed forward like a crescent moon. It was so fast that a dark crack appeared in the space where the sword light passed. The giant hand formed by the expert from the Heng family was cut in half by the sword light. The sword light did not stop and continued to attack the expert from the Heng family. It was so fast that the expert could not react in time. Fall back! The great emperor from the Heng family shouted, but it was too late. Blood splattered everywhere as the elite from the Heng family was sliced in half by the sword. His soul naturally dissipated in the sword radiance. Another martial emperor was killed. Furthermore, this person was not someone that He Gao could compare to. He was a powerful figure among the Void Emperors. However, he could not block Lu Ming's sword. Many people looked at the stone sword in Lu Ming's hand in awe. Of course, there were also people who were greedy. Lu Ming was only an absolute saint, but he could exert such terrifying power. What would happen if a martial emperor controlled the sword? Damn it! How dare you! The other experts from the Heng family reacted and shouted. Ha, good job! Emperor Wu Xiang laughed and the great emperor from the Heng family looked pale. Who else wants to kill me? Lu Ming pointed the stone sword at the Heng family. The experts of the Heng family all had ugly expressions on their faces. They were filled with killing intent, anger, and fear. They did not know how powerful Lu Ming could be with the sword of the Heavenly Emperor. Therefore, no one dared to step forward. Didn't you all want to kill me? Are you all useless now? Lu Ming pointed the stone sword at the Daluo Heaven sect. The people from the Daluo Heaven sect looked pale. However, no one stepped forward. In the end, Lu Ming pointed the stone sword at the He family. He Gao, you old dog, come out and die. Lu Ming shouted, his killing intent bursting forth. Today, he wanted He Gao's head as a sacrifice to the Ice Dragon Valley Master. He Gao's expression darkened. Many people's hearts trembled. Lu Ming wanted to challenge He Gao. He Gao wasn't weak even among emperors and could be considered an expert. Given Lu Ming's sage realm cultivation and the control of the sword of the celestial arch, could he really fight against a veteran true emperor like He Gao? He Gao, I challenge you. If you don't dare to accept my challenge, just say so. Lu Ming said loudly, his voice full of mockery. Little bastard, you deserve to die. He Gao roared in his heart. He couldn't wait to slap Lu Ming to death. But now, facing Lu Ming, who was holding the sword of the celestial arch, he wasn't confident. He even felt a little scared. He didn't want to die. He still wanted to survive the tribulation and live a carefree life for hundreds of thousands of years. But now, a junior like Lu Ming was challenging him. If he didn't dare to accept the challenge, he would lose all face. Not only him, but the He family as well. Right now, he couldn't back down. Looks like the He family is a bunch of cowards. They only know how to bully others with their absolute advantage. Once someone shows a hint of a threat, they immediately give up. How embarrassing! Lu Ming continued, his mockery thickening. The He family members' faces turned red. They felt extremely humiliated. He Gao, go ahead and kill him. The He family Grand Emperor stood with his hands behind his back and glanced at He Gao. He Gao's face immediately turned pale. Clearly, the He family Grand Emperor was furious. He had no choice but to obey the He family Grand Emperor's order. Little bastard, I'll make sure you die a horrible death. He Gao's expression was gloomy. He took a step forward and divine light spread out from his body, enveloping him. At the same time, several imperial weapons floated around him. Among them, there were a few defensive imperial weapons that protected him. You're really afraid of death. You're facing a junior of the absolute saint realm and you're already covering yourself like a turtle shell before the fight even starts. Huang Li laughed out loud. Did you see that? He's a coward. The embodiment of cowardice. Huang Ling said, a bunch of bastards. He Gao roared in his heart. He was being mocked by a few juniors. Even though he was thick-skinned, he couldn't help but turn red. Kill! He turned his anger into killing intent and took out an imperial weapon. The imperial weapon flew out and charged towards Lu Ming. He didn't dare to get too close to Lu Ming. He controlled the imperial weapon and charged towards Lu Ming. He wanted to test his strength first. It was a small silver knife that cut through the void. Its speed was shocking and its power was even more terrifying. However, this slash alone could easily kill any expert among the Void Emperors. The Heavenly Emperor sword in Lu Ming's hand vibrated. Lu Ming took advantage of the situation and slashed out. Clang! The stone sword and the small silver knife clashed and a terrifying buzzing sound rang out. The small silver knife vibrated and was sent flying out. That's all there is to it. He Gao's eyes lit up. He felt that although the Heavenly Emperor sword was powerful, it wasn't too exaggerated. He could completely block it. However, he was still worried. He controlled the small silver knife and turned it into a silver lightning bolt and charged towards Lu Ming. Clang! Clang! Lu Ming's Heavenly Emperor sword continued to slash out and collided with the small silver knife. After more than 10 collisions, the small silver knife was sent flying out each time. However, Lu Ming also took a few steps back. That's all there is to it. He Gao was finally relieved. His body moved and charged towards Lu Ming. A terrifying knife light burst out from He Gao's hand and slashed towards Lu Ming. Retreat! Many true emperors and void emperors protected the weaker ones and retreated quickly. He Gao's combat strength was really strong. When he unleashed his full strength, a large area would be enveloped by his attack. It was difficult to stand still. Good timing! A cold light flashed in Lu Ming's eyes. He activated the cultivation technique that controlled the Heavenly Emperor's physical body. More energy burst out from the Heavenly Emperor sword. The Heavenly Emperor sword vibrated continuously and a layer of terrifying light appeared on the sword. Following that, Lu Ming slashed out and a shocking sword light burst out. A chilling sword light. The sword light slashed down and collided with He Gao's knife light. Boom! Blinding light burst out and endless knife light and sword chi swept out in all directions. The entire sky shook violently. Bam! Then, the knife light shattered and the terrifying sword light bombarded He Gao's defensive imperial weapon. The violent power sent He Gao's body flying like a cannonball. His face was pale. You didn't use your full strength just now. He Gao shouted in fear. Die, you old dog. Lu Ming held the stone sword and seemed to have become one with it. The power of the stone sword surged into his body. He took a step forward and caught up with He Gao. Then he slashed down again. He Gao roared and unleashed all of his strength. The power of the Heavenly Emperor surged and fought against Lu Ming. Chapter 2017. Bam! He Gao was sent flying. Lu Ming quickly caught up with him and the Heavenly Emperor's sword continued to slash downwards. At this moment, the power of the Heavenly Emperor's sword had surpassed He Gao's. Many people were shocked. The power of the Heavenly Emperor's sword was too terrifying. It had not unleashed its full power earlier, but now, it was able to suppress He Gao. The stone sword buzzed and the sword chi was shocking as it continued to slash down towards He Gao. He Gao gritted his teeth and controlled the imperial weapon. The silver knife enlarged rapidly and he held it in his hand as he slashed out. Clang! When the stone sword and the silver saber collided, sparks flew everywhere. A gap actually appeared on the silver saber, but there was not the slightest mark on the stone sword. He Gao retreated continuously from the shock. Lu Ming followed closely behind, slashing his combat sword again. He Gao could only brandish his battle knife to block. Clang! 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 The two of them continued to clash and the sky rumbled. In an instant, the two of them had exchanged more than 10 moves. Their speed was shocking. Some of the weaker cultivators could only see 2 phantoms. Bam! After more than 10 moves, the silver battle knife in He Gao's hand shattered into pieces. A true imperial weapon was shattered just like that. Swoosh! Lu Ming slashed down again. He Gao ignored the pain in his heart and controlled an imperial weapon shield to block. There was another explosion and the imperial weapon shield was hit by a terrifying force. It slammed heavily onto He Gao's body. He Gao screamed and vomited blood. Die! Lu Ming roared and crazily activated the energy in the stone sword. The light on the stone sword became brighter and more powerful. He Gao's face changed drastically as if he sensed a fatal danger. His body flashed and he rushed towards the great emperor of the He clan. "Great Emperor, save me!" He Gao roared. But in the next moment, Lu Ming turned into a sword light and attacked He Gao at a shocking speed. After the stone sword left the heavenly emperor's body, it was controlled by Lu Ming. Although it was powerful, it was limited. At this moment, Lu Ming had activated it to the extreme. This sword was enough to threaten He Gao. But at this moment, the great emperor of the He clan frowned and took a step forward. Boom! Between heaven and earth, because of this step, the wind and clouds changed. A huge foot came down from the sky, stomping toward Lu Ming. Despicable! Huang Ling, Long Chen, and the others roared. Not only had a great emperor attacked Lu Ming, an absolute saint, but he had also attacked while Lu Ming was fighting against others. This was far too despicable. Rumble! The giant foot was completely composed of energy. It was like the foot of a god. As it stomped down from the sky, Lu Ming felt the space around him freeze. The terrifying pressure made it difficult for Lu Ming to breathe. Slash! Lu Ming shouted. Holding the sword with both hands, he slashed down at the giant foot. Boom! A heaven-shaking explosion rang out. Lu Ming's sword light was only able to endure for a moment before collapsing. The giant foot continued to descend at an astonishing speed. Lu Ming held his sword horizontally in front of him. Dong! The giant foot stepped on the stone sword. Lu Ming's entire body was like a meteor, smashing into the ground. Boom! The ground within a radius of a few thousand miles shook as spiderweb-like cracks appeared. The place where Lu Ming landed had a deep, pitch-black pit. Lu Ming, Huang Ling, Long Chen, and the others trembled. How was Lu Ming? Lu Ming had exchanged a blow with a great emperor. That was a great emperor. If a heavenly emperor didn't appear, a great emperor would be at the peak. How many people in the entire Yuan Mountain could take a blow from a great emperor? Even a peak true emperor would die. Master. Xiang's eyes were filled with tears. She was about to cry. Boom. In the endless dark void, there was a commotion. It was Uncle Kong. Uncle Kong was still fighting with Tianluo Great Emperor. Countless eyes were looking at the pitch-black cave. Was Lu Ming dead? Even if the Great Emperor didn't use much of his strength, he would still be in trouble after clashing head-on with the Great Emperor. He Gao came to the top of the cave with a hideous smile. Little bastard, so what if you have the Heavenly Emperor's sword? You're just an ant at the saintly realm. How dare you fight with the He clan? You overestimate yourself. He Gao sneered. An ant at the saintly realm? Who was the one who was beaten up by an ant at the saintly realm? Huang Ling mocked. Little girl, you've got a sharp tongue. I'll make you regret what you said later. He Gao glanced at Huang Ling coldly. He then gathered his power of the realm to form a long spear and threw it into the pitch-black cave. The long spear flew into the pitch-black cave like a stone sinking into the ocean. He Gao's expression changed as he descended. His eyes shone brightly as if he wanted to see what was below. Rumble. At this time, the ground suddenly trembled, emitting a muffled rumble. It was as if a peerless, ferocious beast had awakened deep underground. Retreat! Great Emperor He of the He clan's face changed as he roared. He Gao was shocked and was about to rush into the sky. Rumble! The ground exploded and dust filled the air. An incomparably huge hand stretched out from the depths of the ground and grabbed at He Gao. The hand was made of stone and it was so huge that it covered the sky. It gave off a terrifying aura and blocked off all of He Gao's escape routes. He Gao was terrified. He wanted to run away, but he realized that he had nowhere to run. He was like a worm that was about to be caught. Rumble. At this moment, the great emperor of the He clan made his move. He slapped down with his palm and a huge palm print slammed down on the stone hand, wanting to save He Gao. However, the ground rumbled again. Another giant stone hand reached out and punched at the great emperor of the He clan. Rumble. The giant stone hand crushed great emperor He's palm print. When the hand closed, He Gao tried his best, but it was useless. He was caught by the stone hand. Rumble. The ground rumbled and then collapsed. A gigantic stone man rushed out from the ground. That's Heaven Emperor's physical body. Someone shouted in shock. Many people had entered the Lotus World and the Ninth World. They had seen Heaven Emperor's physical body before. In the beginning, Heaven Emperor's physical body was controlled by Xinghe. But when the Void Passage appeared, Heaven Emperor's physical body and Sword of Heaven Emperor flew away to suppress the Void Passage. Then it disappeared. No one had expected it to appear here. Could it be that Lu Ming had obtained Heaven Emperor's physical body? But why was it Lu Ming and not Xinghe? Wasn't Xinghe the one who controlled Heaven Emperor's physical body at the beginning? The experts of the Heng family, especially the great emperor of the Heng family, had a bright glow in their eyes. Lu Ming and the people on his side were stunned. They could not figure out why Lu Ming had turned into a stone man and dashed out after being blasted into the depths of the earth. He Gao, I've said that you will die today. The huge stone man spoke with a buzzing voice. But judging from his tone, it was Lu Ming. Many people were dumbfounded. Chapter 2018. He Gao was terrified by Lu Ming's grip. He struggled frantically, trying to break free. However, this was Heaven Emperor's body. No matter how hard he struggled, it was useless. Let him go. Great Emperor, he looked at Lu Ming, or more accurately, at Heaven Emperor's body. His eyes flashed with greed. The Heavenly Emperor's corporeal body and battle sword were both supreme treasures. Ridiculous! Lu Ming said indifferently. The golem's indifferent eyes glanced at Great Emperor He. Then it squeezed hard. The terrifying power almost flattened He Gao, causing him to scream in pain. Boom! Great Emperor He attacked. His body was shrouded in boundless light. Strands of light that resembled divine swords flew towards Lu Ming. This was the light of the world. It was extremely terrifying. Clang! The stone sword had been stuck in the back of Heaven Emperor's body. Now, with a thought from Lu Ming, the stone sword buzzed and flew out. It expanded rapidly and swept across. After the stone sword merged with Heaven Emperor's body, its power increased tremendously. It slashed horizontally and blocked all of Great Emperor He's attacks. He Gao, I'll send you on your way. Lu Ming's cold voice resounded. No, no. He Gao screamed in terror. He Gao roared in horror. He didn't want to die. He had racked his brains for the sake of surviving the great calamity and continuing to live a carefree life. But now, he was about to die before he could even survive the tribulation. He was extremely terrified. Boom! Lu Ming squeezed hard. A terrifying force rushed towards He Gao. He Gao couldn't resist this force at all. In Lu Ming's hand, his body exploded inch by inch. In the end, only his head was left. He Gao wasn't dead yet. His soul was still there. At this moment, he kept screaming, "Spare me! Spare me!" A wave of energy rushed into He Gao's sea of consciousness and destroyed his soul. Next, Lu Ming threw He Gao's head out. It flew out and landed in front of a tomb on a mountain peak. That was the tomb of Ice Dragon Valley Master. Back then, Lu Ming swore that he would use He Gao's head as a sacrifice to Ice Dragon Valley Master. Now he had done it. The spectators were shocked. A true emperor was killed just like that. He was mercilessly killed by Lu Ming in front of a great emperor. At this moment, the great emperor of the He clan was enraged. His long hair danced in the wind, and his aura was shocking. Bang! He took a step forward, and a terrifying aura surged towards Lu Ming. "If you want to fight, I'll fight with you. Let's go up," Lu Ming said. His body shot up into the sky and into the vast sky. The great emperor of the He clan followed closely behind and soared into the sky. At the same time, a resplendent blade light shot out from his hand. It seemed as though the entire world was about to be sliced apart by this blade. At this moment, Lu Ming had fused with Heavenly Emperor's body. He controlled Heavenly Emperor's body and slashed out with the stone sword. Clang! An earth-shattering boom rang out, as if the world had exploded. Heaven and earth shook. The people below only saw a bright light explode in the endless sky, as if a sun had exploded. The two of them exchanged a blow. Their bodies swayed and they took a few steps back. The great emperor of the He clan's face darkened. His body moved and rapidly expanded. In the end, he turned into a giant that was as big as Heavenly Emperor. Great emperors controlled the Grand Tao. The small worlds in their bodies were close to perfection and could give birth to living beings. They had the power of their own worlds and could freely expand or shrink their bodies. The great emperor of the He clan clenched his fist. It was as if he was holding a Grand Tao in his hand and it turned into a battle blade. The Grand Tao turned into a battle blade that emitted a resplendent light. With a slash, endless power gathered and slashed towards Lu Ming. Lu Ming's thoughts moved. The energy in Heavenly Emperor's body exploded wildly. A layer of light covered Heavenly Emperor's body. The light on the stone sword became even brighter. Clang. Lu Ming slashed out again and clashed with the great emperor of the He clan. This time, the two of them were still pushed back. The void trembled as they stepped on it. But in the next moment, the two of them clashed again. Clang, clang, clang. Their attacks were simple, but each of them contained terrifying power. Their attacks shook the heavens and earth. If they were to land on the ground, the consequences would be unimaginable. After becoming a great emperor, one could control the Grand Tao and return to one's original state. A battle might seem simple, but it was more dangerous. In the blink of an eye, the two of them had exchanged dozens of blows. It was difficult to determine the victor. I have to end this quickly. My energy won't last that long. Lu Ming had many thoughts in his mind. Bam, bam. Lu Ming stepped on the void and rushed towards the great emperor of the He clan. The great emperor of the He clan slashed out again. But this time, Lu Ming didn't block it. He was betting. He was betting that the Heavenly Emperor's body could block the attack. Boom. The great emperor of the He clan's sword slashed viciously on Lu Ming's body. Lu Ming's body shook violently, but he managed to block it. There wasn't even a scratch on his body. Lu Ming was overjoyed. After all, this was the body of a Heavenly Emperor. A Heavenly Emperor was much stronger than a great emperor. Their bodies were naturally sturdy and indestructible. Ordinary great emperors couldn't even break through a Heavenly Emperor's body. Kill! Lu Ming roared and slashed the stone sword at the great emperor of the He clan. Not good. The great emperor of the He clan was alarmed and retreated quickly. But he was still a step too late. His body was slashed by the stone sword and a bloody wound appeared. Kill, kill, kill! Lu Ming roared. His attacks were like a violent storm, blasting toward the great emperor of the He family. The great emperor of the He clan also counterattacked, but Lu Ming didn't care about his defense. He allowed the great emperor of the He clan's attacks to land on his body. For a moment, the great emperor of the He clan was in a passive position. He was suppressed by Lu Ming. Down below, many emperor-level experts could see the great battle in the sky through the vast void. At this moment, they were all dumbfounded. The great emperor of the He clan was at a disadvantage. He was suppressed by Lu Ming. Such power! The Heavenly Emperor's body is so strong. It's a waste that it's controlled by Lu Ming. If it's controlled by our great emperor, we can sweep the world. The Hung clan's experts were all greedy. They couldn't wait to take the Heavenly Emperor's body for themselves. On the other hand, the great emperors of the Yuan Mountain Saint Court were overjoyed. How is it? How's the battle above? Huang Ling asked anxiously. Those below the great emperors didn't have the strength to see the battle above. Lu Ming has the upper hand. Great Emperor Wuxia said. He had been confronting the great emperor of the Hung clan and hadn't made a move. At this moment he waved his hand and an image appeared in the sky. It was the image of the battle between Lu Ming and the great emperor of the He clan. At this moment, the great emperor of the He clan was completely suppressed and could only defend. Bam! In a moment of carelessness, the great emperor of the He clan was punched in the face by Lu Ming's other hand. The great emperor of the He clan was sent flying. Awesome, this is awesome. Beat that son of AB***. When Huang Li and the other desolate race youths saw this, they shouted in excitement. Chapter 2019. What are you looking at? Let's wait for Great Emperor He to be beaten to a pulp. I'm going to use the Rest Shadow Stone to record everything. A great emperor being beaten to a pulp is definitely worth collecting. Perhaps I can sell it to others for a high price. Huang Li and the rest stared back and took out the rest shadow stone to record the scene. All of you are courting death. The experts from He clan were enraged. But what made them vomit blood was that many people took out the rest shadow stone to record the scene. This included the people from Hung clan and Daluo Heaven sect. Indeed, it was rare to see a great emperor being beaten to a pulp. Many people would be willing to pay a high price to purchase it. This made the faces of the He family members turn the color of pig liver. In the sky, after Lu Ming sent Great Emperor He flying, he chased after him and continued his torrential attacks. The Great Emperor of the He clan roared as a world emerged from his body. In this world, one could even see some strange living beings that were living and reproducing in it. The boundless power of the world was controlled by Great Emperor He. It merged with the Tao of heaven and earth and turned into a terrifying killing art that charged towards Lu Ming. However, Lu Ming ignored his own defense and rushed out. The stone sword slashed down and broke through the power of the world as he charged towards Great Emperor He. The two of them exchanged more than 10 moves consecutively. The Great Emperor of the He family was at a disadvantage. Lu Ming found another flaw and slashed down. This slash landed on Great Emperor He's face. Great Emperor He was surrounded by the Tao and the power of the world as he set up layers of defense. But when the slash landed, Great Emperor He felt as though he had been hit by a huge mountain. His body was sent flying and he spun a few thousand rounds in the sky. He felt a buzzing sound in his head and his soul was almost blown out. Swoosh! In the next instant, Lu Ming charged towards Great Emperor He and slashed down again. Bam! Great Emperor He of the He clan was sent flying again. However, Lu Ming didn't break through Great Emperor He's defense. He only made him dizzy. The energy stored in Sky Emperor's body is too little. His attack power is insufficient. Lu Ming sighed in his heart. Only 12% of Sky Emperor's energy was stored in his body. Although he was able to suppress Great Emperor He with his invincible defense, it was difficult for him to break through his defense. If the energy stored in the Celestial Emperor's body reached 20%, Lu Ming was confident that he could break through his opponent's defenses and even kill him. However, even if he couldn't break through his opponent's defense now, he could still give him a good beating. Lu Ming rushed towards the Great Emperor of the He clan and kicked him in the face. The Great Emperor of the He clan groaned as his body flew out again. Then, Lu Ming chased after him and sent the He clan Great Emperor flying again. Great Emperor He of the He clan was like a rubber ball that was sent flying by Lu Ming. Great Emperor! The faces of the He family's experts paled. Some of the onlookers were dumbfounded. As for the people who were with Lu Ming, they were all overjoyed. Ah, this feels great. Beat his face. That's right. Beat him with all your might. Huang Li shouted and laughed as though he was beating up the Great Emperor of the He clan. At the same time, he didn't forget to record the scene with the rest shadow stone. Great Emperor Heng of the Heng clan's face turned ugly. If Lu Ming could beat up the Great Emperor of the He clan, wouldn't he be able to do the same to him? High up in the sky, the Great Emperor of the He clan was finally clear-headed after being beaten up so many times. He roared crazily and the small world in his body seemed to be burning up. Boom! Boom! He started to go all out and launched a few terrifying attacks at Lu Ming. When his attacks landed on Lu Ming, he finally forced Lu Ming to retreat. At the same time, he rushed into the distance and disappeared in the blink of an eye. Retreat! Then, the Great Emperor of the He clan's voice could be heard. The faces of the He clan's experts turned ugly. However, since the Great Emperor of the He clan had left, they could only retreat. Instantly, the He clan members turned into streaks of light and escaped pathetically. In the blink of an eye, they left carelessly. In the sky, Lu Ming looked at the Great Emperor of the Hung clan with excitement. The Great Emperor of the Hung clan's face changed. He knew that it was impossible to kill Lu Ming and take back the Heavenly Emperor's sword or even the Heavenly Emperor's body. Retreat! The Great Emperor of the Hung clan shouted. His body swayed and he left the place. The experts of the Hung clan quickly escaped from the Yuan Mountain Saint Court. Let's go! The void shook and the Great Emperor of the Tian Luo sect appeared. He glanced at Lu Ming unwillingly and left with the people of the Daluo Heaven sect. The three emperor-level forces had come with great momentum, but when they left, they were in a sorry state. All of this was because of Lu Ming. When they came, it was because of Lu Ming. When they retreated, it was also because of Lu Ming. It could be said that the three forces were in a difficult situation this time, especially the He clan. The Void Emperor and the True Emperor were killed by Lu Ming. Even the Great Emperor was beaten up by Lu Ming. They were destined to become a laughingstock. As for the Hung clan, Lu Ming killed an expert of the Minor Emperor realm. It's too scary. Lu Ming can control the Heavenly Emperor's body and suppress the Great Emperor. From now on, no one in the Yuan Mountain will be his opponent. That's right. With the protection of the Heavenly Emperor's body, Lu Ming will be able to grow smoothly. I wonder how terrifying a son of chaos will be when he grows up. Many people whispered. Some forces even began to consider whether they should befriend Lu Ming. After all, Lu Ming's character was not to be doubted. Disregarding his own safety, he sealed the void passage of the evil god tribe with the Great Emperor. Just this point made people have a good impression of him. And now, Lu Ming even had the protection of the Heavenly Emperor's body. In the future, he would definitely grow into a terrifying expert. Even breaking through to the Great Emperor realm was not impossible. Befriending Lu Ming now was naturally the best. Unfortunately, the energy stored is too little. It's about to be used up now. With a thought, Lu Ming walked out from the forehead of the Heavenly Emperor's body. Then, the Heavenly Emperor's body rapidly shrank and was kept by Lu Ming. In the battle with the Great Emperor of the He clan, the energy stored in the Heavenly Emperor's body was almost exhausted. Otherwise, he would not mind torturing the Hung clan's Great Emperor and Tianluo Great Emperor. It was only because the energy was exhausted that Lu Ming did not pursue. Otherwise, it would be over if he was exposed. In fact, the Great Emperor of the He clan was afraid of Lu Ming. If he persisted for a while longer, Lu Ming would be exposed. Then, if the Hung clan's Great Emperor and Tianluo Great Emperor joined forces, Lu Ming would be in danger. However, they did not know that the Heavenly Emperor's body needed to store energy in order to be controlled. How would they dare to fight with Lu Ming? Lu Ming stepped down from the sky and walked towards Huang Ling and the others. Ah, Lu Ming, that was a good beating. It was too good. I've copied everything that happened just now. Let's enjoy it together when we have time. Huang Li laughed heartily, his eyes shining. Huang Ling, Long Chen, and the others also smiled. It's a pity that we didn't kill a great emperor. Chapter 2020. Lu Ming shook his head and sighed. Many people were speechless. Lu Ming still wanted to kill a great emperor. This little guy is quite ambitious. However, it's not easy to kill a great emperor unless you have an overwhelming advantage in strength. Emperor Wuxia walked over and said with a smile. Then there was a flash of light and Uncle Kong appeared. Uncle Kong, are you all right? Lu Ming asked with concern. Uncle Kong had not recovered from his injuries and he had just fought with Great Emperor Tianluo. This made Lu Ming quite worried. Don't worry, I'm fine. Uncle Kong revealed a gentle smile and returned to the state of an old man. If they had not seen Uncle Kong in action, they would never have thought that Uncle Kong was a terrifying great emperor. Uncle Kong did not stay for long. He said a few words and left. Then, Emperor Wuxia also left. They were all injured and needed to recover as soon as possible. As for Huang Li, Huang Ling, Long Chen and the rest, they pulled Lu Ming along and held a big banquet, calling it a celebration. While drinking, they took out the Breath Shadow Stone and watched the scene of Lu Ming beating up the great emperor of the He family. In the next few days, there were people who came to the Origin Mountain Saint Court to visit Lu Ming. Obviously, these forces wanted to befriend Lu Ming. For example, the ancient Sun Holy Land's Purple Flame Villa and the Soul Sanctum's experts. Lu Ming had the Heavenly Emperor's body and the combat strength of a great emperor. There was no need to be afraid of the Daluo Heaven sect. Of course, they were willing to befriend Lu Ming. There were also some other powerful forces that did the same. Naturally, they did not know that the Heavenly Emperor's body could not be used at will. It needed to store energy. They also did not know that the energy of the Heavenly Emperor's body had been exhausted. Lu Ming did not reject anyone and met with many powerful figures from various forces. Befriending more forces would be useful in the future. In the blink of an eye, more than half a month had passed. Celestial City was also in the process of being repaired. Since the last battle, Heng and He clan had restrained themselves and did not continue to invade other forces' territories. Many forces were able to rebuild. At this time, Lu Ming also left the Origin Mountain Saint Court. He had just received the news that Vientiane Tower had reopened, so he immediately rushed over. After entering the Vientiane Tower, someone led Lu Ming to a room. "What information do you want?" A white-haired old man asked. "I want to know if there's any way to condense a soul. I have a friend who's injured. Her soul is injured." Lu Ming then described the symptoms of autumn moon in detail. The law of deprivation has been encountered, and the soul has been injured. The white-haired old man frowned. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. If the Vientiane Tower did not know what to do, then it would be troublesome. After a while, the white-haired old man said, "It's extremely difficult to recover from an injury to the soul. Can you let this old man take a look at your friend?" "All right." Lu Ming nodded, and with a wave of his hand, the Great Pill Derivation Furnace appeared. This is the Great Pill Derivation Furnace of the Great Pill Derivation Palace. "Little guy, you must be the son of Chaos, Lu Ming, whose name shook the entire Origin Mountain." The white-haired old man was indeed an expert of the Vientiane Tower. He recognized the Great Pill Derivation Furnace at a glance. "That's me," Lu Ming said. Then he opened the Great Pill Derivation Furnace, and Autumn Moon's body floated out. Lu Ming would melt a batch of sacred medicine into Autumn Moon's body every once in a while. Although such a long time had passed, Autumn Moon's face was still rosy and normal. Even Autumn Moon's body was emitting a strong medicinal fragrance. The white-haired old man waved his hand, and a force surged into Autumn Moon's body to observe carefully. After a while, the white-haired old man withdrew his power. "Her soul has been seriously injured. As far as this old man knows, there's only one place in the entire Origin realm, and only one treasure that can condense her soul and recover." The white-haired old man said. "What place? What treasure?" Lu Ming was overjoyed. As long as he could save Autumn Moon, no matter what treasure it was, he would find a way to get it. "Little guy, it's not easy to use this treasure to save this little girl. That treasure is the national treasure of the Super Devil Nation in the land of infinite devils, the ancient demonic coffin." "Ancient demonic coffin?" Lu Ming's eyes lit up. "That's right. The ancient demonic coffin of the ancient demonic nation is a rare treasure. It has an unimaginable effect on the soul. As long as this little girl is placed in the ancient demonic coffin, her soul will be condensed in less than a month. However, the ancient demonic coffin is the national treasure of the ancient demonic nation. It's very difficult to borrow it for a month." The white-haired old man said. "Thank you, senior." Lu Ming cupped his fists and thanked the white-haired old man. He then paid the consultation fee and put Autumn Moon back into the Great Defying Cauldron. He had to make a trip to the ancient demonic nation as soon as possible. The longer he delayed, the more unfavorable it would be for Autumn Moon. No matter how difficult it was, he had to help Autumn Moon recover. After leaving the Vientiane Tower, Lu Ming returned to the Origin Mountain Saint Court. He planned to bid farewell to everyone and leave for the land of infinite devils as soon as possible. However, when he returned to the Origin Mountain Saint Court, he heard that Emperor Wuxia was gathering the sky prides of the Origin Mountain Saint Court. It seemed like he had something important to announce. Therefore, Lu Ming stayed for the time being. He would only leave after Emperor Wuxia was done with the announcement. In the next few days, sky prides continued to return to the Origin Mountain Saint Court. However, the sky prides of the He clan, Heng clan, and Daluo Heaven sect did not come. On the fifth day, Emperor Wuxia gathered everyone at the place where he gave the lecture. Lu Ming and the others also came. They found that there were a total of hundreds of people here. It was much worse than before. The void shook, and Emperor Wuxia's figure appeared. "Greetings, Emperor." Everyone bowed. "This time, I gathered all of you here because I have something important to announce. I believe everyone is very curious about why Heavenly Fire, and Hun Tian founded the Origin Mountain Saint Court back then. Emperor Wu Xiang said. Everyone nodded. This was indeed the question in everyone's heart. There are several main reasons. One of them is related to the evil god tribe. The previous battle was just a local battle. The evil god tribe has never given up on attacking the Heaven Realm and the Primordial Realm. Now, the Heaven Realm situation is very unfavorable. It's only a matter of time before the evil god tribe attacks the Primordial Realm. Therefore, the final battle will erupt sooner or later. Emperor Wu Xiang said in a heavy voice. Everyone's hearts sank, and their faces were very solemn. After the previous battle with the evil god tribe, everyone understood how terrifying the evil god tribe was. However, that was only a local battle. If the final battle was fought, a large number of great emperors and even heavenly emperors would come. How could they fight? At that time, not only the land of Origin Mountain, but the entire primordial realm would not be able to stay out of it. They would probably fall into a tragic battle. Crack. Chapter 2021. However, when a world is facing a crisis, the world itself will be in a defensive state. Emperor Wu Xiang continued to explain. The world itself will be in a defensive state? Everyone was confused. Could it be that the world itself had a consciousness? That's right. There was once a powerful existence that speculated that the world itself has a consciousness. For example, when the heavenly world or the primordial realm is invaded by the evil god tribe, they will be in a defensive state. The space will become relatively stable and not easy to penetrate. The most important point is that when the world is in danger, the world will give birth to many geniuses. Many terrifying physiques will appear in groups. Just like now, the heavenly world and the primordial realm are full of geniuses. All kinds of monarch physiques and even heaven's children are appearing. In the past, this was impossible. In fact, this is the world's defense. When these geniuses grow up, they will be able to defend against external enemies. This is the reason why the golden age of the world is now. Emperor Wu Xiang continued to explain. Everyone's hearts were in turmoil. There was actually such a saying? This was the first time they had heard of it. Geniuses were gathering, and monarch physiques were contending for supremacy. It turned out that it was a defensive state of the world itself. Therefore, you are the hope of the future. You are the hope of resisting the evil god tribe. Therefore, the three of us established the Primordial Mountain Academy and gathered you all together. We will do our best to nurture you, hoping that you will grow faster. Everyone came to a realization. So this was the reason why the three great emperors had established the Primordial Mountain Academy. The great emperors are really selfless. Someone sighed. Especially when they thought of the Heavenly Fire Great Emperor and the Chaos Heaven Great Emperor's current situation, some people felt sad. Compared to Emperor Wu Xiang, the Heavenly Fire Great Emperor, and the Chaos Heaven Great Emperor, the Hung Clan Great Emperor, the He Clan Great Emperor, and the Tianluo Great Emperor were incomparably despicable and selfish. Of course, that's only the first point. The second point is that the Battle of the 10 Earths will begin soon. It's said that there will be a great opportunity this time. Therefore, we want you to grow faster so that you can seize this opportunity. Emperor Wu Xiang continued. Battle of 10 Earths? Everyone was puzzled. They had never heard of such a thing before. The Battle of the 10 Earths is held by many great emperors in the 10 Earths of the Yuan realm. It will gather all the sky prides of the 10 Earths. When the sky prides compete, they will also be accompanied by great opportunities. The purpose is the same as well. It is to nurture this batch of sky prides and allow them to grow faster. Emperor Wu Xiang said. Everyone's hearts trembled, and they found it hard to calm down. The Battle of the 10 Lands would gather all the geniuses of the 10 lands. How many geniuses would there be? How intense would the battle between geniuses be? Such a thing had never happened before in history. This was the first time. This time, the battle will take place in the Divine Fate Land. Countless experts will participate and there will be great opportunities. It will be of great help to your cultivation. If you want to rise before the war with the evil god tribe, if you want to have the ability to protect yourself in the future, you can't miss this battle. Emperor Wu Xiang's voice caused everyone's hearts to surge. Emperor, when will the battle begin? Lu Ming asked. Lu Ming wanted to break through and step onto the peak. He couldn't miss such an opportunity. But now, he still needed to go to the land of infinite demons to save Autumn Moon. 3 years later, Emperor Wu Xiang said. 3 years later? Hurry up. Lu Ming let out a long breath. 3 years later, the divine fate land will gather. At that time, you will face all the sky prides of the Yuan realm. So, if you want to stand out in the battle of the 10 Earths and seize the opportunities, you have to keep improving in these 3 years. Otherwise, you might be reduced to a supporting role. Understand? Emperor Wu Xiang said. Understood. Everyone shouted. Good. Now, Lu Ming, Lu Xiang, you guys stay. The rest can leave. After that, Emperor Wu Xiang called out a group of names. Then some people left. Dozens of people stayed. Lu Ming looked around and found that those who stayed were mostly people with the monarch body. Only a few people didn't have the monarch body. Bubbles, Huang Ling, Long Qin, Ouyang Wushuang, and the others were all there. At this time, ripples appeared in the space, and a few more figures appeared. Uncle Kong and the Divine Emperor, the Emperor-like Great Emperor. Several great emperors appeared at the same time. You are the group of people with the most outstanding talent in Yuan Mountain. In these 3 years, we will send you to some strange places. Each place is related to the laws you have comprehended and will greatly help your cultivation. Emperor Wu Xiang said. Many people's eyes lit up. The places chosen by the great emperor were definitely extraordinary and would definitely be of great help to their cultivation. Great Emperor, I'm afraid I can't go. Lu Ming took a step forward and cupped his fists. I know. You're going to the land of infinite demons, right? Emperor Wu Xiang nodded. Go. Saving people is more important, but you have to rely on yourself if you want to borrow the ancient demon coffin. Even if we appear in the land of infinite demons, it won't have any effect. It might even be counterproductive. Uncle Kong said. Those devil cultivators are all arrogant. Humph. The Divine Emperor snorted. Yes. Lu Ming nodded. I also want to follow Big Brother Lu Ming. Chirp chirp. Bubble hung around Lu Ming's neck. Little guy, we'll bring you to a place that will greatly help your cultivation. Are you sure you don't want to go? Emperor Wu Xiang looked at Bubble. Not going. Bubble shook its head vigorously. Lu Ming smiled bitterly and said, Bubble, go and cultivate with the great emperors. We'll meet again soon. Bubble was a space-time spirit mouse and had a unique talent. Its talent was even stronger than ordinary Elysian children. If it continued to follow him, it would only limit its talent. Bubble had been following him for a long time, but its cultivation progress wasn't too fast. This time, Lu Ming planned to let Bubble cultivate with the great emperors. That way, it would be able to improve faster. Lu Ming felt a sense of urgency. He didn't know when the evil god tribe would attack. All of them had to make the best use of their time to improve their strength. If it wasn't for the fact that he had to save Autumn Moon, Lu Ming would also follow the great emperors to cultivate. But Bubble can't bear to part with Big Brother Lu Ming. Chirp chirp. Bubble hung around Lu Ming's neck and rubbed its little head against him. Bubble, be good and improve your strength. Otherwise, you won't be able to help Big Brother Lu Ming in the future. Lu Ming patted Bubble's little head. No, Bubble must help Big Brother Lu Ming. Bubble blinked its big eyes and finally agreed to cultivate with the great emperors. All right, I'll give you 3 days to prepare. 3 days later will bring you all away. Emperor Wu Xiang said. Then the great emperors left the place. Lu Ming, let's go and have a drink. Huang Li and the others walked over. Then, everyone drank to their heart's content and agreed to meet at the divine fate land to compete with the other regions. Chapter 2022. The Land of Infinite Demons was one of the 10 lands of the Yuan realm. It was close to the Yuan mountain and its territory was vast and boundless. Lu Ming stepped onto the teleportation array and first arrived at the teleportation area outside the ancient Sun's sacred land before flying towards the land of infinite demons. The ancient sun-sacred land was the closest to the land of infinite demons among the 9 sacred lands of the Yuan Mountain. After flying for more than 10 days, the demon qi slowly became denser. Then, Lu Ming saw a large river in front of him that ran across the land. This was the Eternal Demon River, which separated the Yuan Mountain and the land of infinite demons. It was unknown how long it was, but it was at least 8,000 miles wide. The strange thing was that the water of the Eternal Demon River was black. Only by crossing the Eternal Demon River could one reach the land of infinite demons. Lu Ming did not stop. He rose into the air and flew towards the other side of the Eternal Demon River. The Eternal Demon River was rich in demon qi and gave birth to some strange monsters. Some of them were very powerful. These monsters were full of dense demon qi. In the land of infinite demons, they were called demonic beasts. In the process of crossing the river, Lu Ming encountered some trouble and was attacked by some demonic beasts. However, Lu Ming rushed through them all. The most dangerous time was when he encountered a huge shark in the martial emperor realm. Fortunately, Lu Ming used the divine breathing technique to conceal his aura and luckily escaped. It took Lu Ming 3 days to cross the 8,000 miles distance and truly reach the territory of the land of infinite demons. What a dense demon qi! Lu Ming found that the demon qi in the land of infinite demons was extremely dense. Demon qi was actually a kind of energy of heaven and earth. Cultivators could absorb and refine it. However, if one did not cultivate demonic arts, it would be very difficult to absorb and refine it. It was much slower than absorbing heaven and earth yuan qi. However, if one cultivated demonic arts, absorbing demon qi would be like a fish in water. Their cultivation speed would be faster. Therefore, the land of infinite demons was a paradise for demonic arts cultivators. Most of the cultivators here were demonic arts cultivators. No matter what law they comprehended, their true essence Saint Force contained demon qi. The land of infinite demons is said to have thousands of demon kingdoms. Among them, there are 2 most powerful demon kingdoms. The Eternal Demon Kingdom is one of them. Lu Ming pondered and began to plan his next itinerary. There were countless devil kingdoms in the land of infinite demons. They were divided into low-grade devil kingdoms, mid-grade devil kingdoms, high-grade devil kingdoms, and super-grade devil kingdoms. The ancient devil nation was a super devil nation. It was even stronger than great emperor forces like the He family and the Hung family. It had existed for countless years. Of course, it wouldn't be easy to borrow the treasure of the ancient devil nation. First, he would have to go to the ancient devil nation and get to know the higher-ups there. Only then would he be able to borrow the ancient devil coffin. Lu Ming took out a jade card and sank his spiritual sense into it. A map automatically emerged in his mind. This was the map of the land of infinite demons. This was the map that Emperor Wuxia had given to Lu Ming. As an emperor powerhouse, it wasn't strange for him to have a map of the myriad devil land. On the map, the territories of the tens of thousands of demon nations appeared. Lu Ming watched for a while, then rose into the air and flew into the distance. Boom, boom. After flying for a short while, Lu Ming heard a rumbling sound in front of him. There were figures fighting. There were more than 10 figures fighting. Demonic qi billowed, and saber light flashed. The people fighting were divided into 2 sides. However, one side was obviously stronger. Every time the saber light flashed, someone would be killed. In a short while, one side was completely killed. The remaining side was all dressed in black robes and carrying demonic sabers. Their eyes were fierce and filled with ruthlessness. Due to the influence of demonic qi, demonic cultivators had strange personalities. Some of them were ruthless, while others were violent. However, they had one thing in common. Demonic cultivators weren't soft-hearted. They were decisive and ruthless. Take the storage rings of these guys. Quick! One of the leaders shouted as he took the storage rings of those who had been killed. Leader, there's a kid over there. Someone saw Lu Ming and swept a cold glance at Lu Ming. Hee, it's just nice that we have some extra income. Kill him. The leader sneered. Bush. In a flash, 7 or 8 black-robed men surrounded Lu Ming. Kid, hand over your storage ring and we'll leave your corpse intact. one of the black-robed men said coldly. Lu Ming shook his head slightly. He didn't expect to be robbed as soon as he arrived in the land of infinite demons. Before he came, he had heard that the land of infinite demons was chaotic. Most demonic cultivators liked to fight, and it was common for them to kill each other. Today, he saw that it was true. However, the strongest of these people was only at the Bright Saint realm. The others were all half-sages. They were overestimating themselves by trying to rob him. Scram! Lu Ming shouted as the aura of a paragon saint burst out. The terrifying aura caused the expressions of the 7 or 8 black-robed men to change drastically. Paragon saint, it's a paragon saint. Senior, please spare our lives. We have eyes but failed to recognize Mount Tai. We'll scram immediately. The 7 or 8 black-robed men were terrified. They were almost scared to death. This was only the border of the land of infinite demons. Normally, there wouldn't be any experts here. How could they be so unlucky to have met a young-looking person who was actually a paragon saint? They ran away and disappeared in the blink of an eye. Lu Ming smiled faintly. With their cultivation, he couldn't be bothered to kill them. This was just a small interlude in Lu Ming's journey to the land of infinite demons. He continued to fly, but what made Lu Ming depressed was that he would encounter robbers every once in a while. Some of them didn't know what was good for them and wanted to attack Lu Ming, but they were easily killed by Lu Ming. After that, Lu Ming revealed his Paragon Saint Realm cultivation as he flew. Many of the robbers felt Lu Ming's cultivation and hurriedly ran away. After flying for more than 10 days, Lu Ming passed by a few low-level devil nations. He found that almost all of them were at war. What made Lu Ming even more depressed was that these low-level devil nations didn't have teleportation formations. They could only rely on flying. After flying for a few more days, Lu Ming's eyes moved and he stopped when he flew past a vast devil mountain. He found a valley where the devil chi was shockingly dense. Such dense devil chi is just right for the Heavenly Emperor's physical body to absorb some energy. Lu Ming thought. The energy stored in the Heavenly Emperor's physical body was almost empty. It needed a large amount of energy to replenish it. The dangers of this trip to the ancient devil nation were unknown. The stronger he was, the better. If the Heavenly Emperor's physical body's energy could be restored to 10%, he would be much more confident. Lu Ming moved his body and headed toward the valley. As soon as Lu Ming got close to the valley, there were beastly roars. A few giant black wolves pounced toward Lu Ming. A great saint realm cultivation. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. These giant wolves had the strength of a great saint realm. Boom! Lu Ming punched out, and the giant wolves cried out in pain. They were sent flying and fell to the ground, unable to move. Roar! Chapter 2023. Within the valley, endless roars could be heard. It was as if there were hundreds of thousands of ferocious beasts charging out of the valley at the same time. The strongest is only a boundary emperor. Lu Ming's lips curled into a smile. He took a step forward and entered the valley. In front of him, a pack of giant wolves charged toward Lu Ming. There were at least a few hundred of them, including bright saints, great saints, and absolute saints. The giant wolves were all black and exuded a strong demonic aura. Their eyes were filled with ferocity as they pounced toward Lu Ming. Kill! Lu Ming waved his hand and his saint power condensed into long spears. Bush, bush, bush. The long spears pierced through the air and made a sharp whistling sound. Suddenly, the giant wolves were nailed to the ground by the long spears. Regardless of whether they were absolute saints or great saints, they were all killed in a single move. In an instant, dozens of giant wolves were nailed to the ground. The other giant wolves could not help but stop in their tracks. Since it had reached the saint realm, the giant wolves naturally had high spiritual intelligence. At this moment, they were looking at Lu Ming in horror. If you don't want to die, get out of my way. Lu Ming shouted coldly. His eyes were like 2 pitch-black vortexes. Lu Ming cast the soul illusory skill. At this moment, in the eyes of the many giant wolves, he seemed to have transformed into a god of death, slaughtering all living beings. Woo-woo. The rest of the giant wolves cried out in fear and slowly retreated. At this moment, a roar came from the depths of the valley, causing the entire valley to shake violently. Lu Ming saw that there was a huge cave in the depths of the valley. At this moment, a giant wolf walked out of the valley. This giant wolf was at least 100 meters tall, like a small mountain. Its body was black as if it was made of steel. Its demonic aura was extremely dense. Boundary Emperor. This giant wolf was at the Boundary Emperor realm. Lu Ming had sensed it before. Obviously, this giant wolf was the king of this group of giant wolves. It stepped out and swept its cold gaze across the group of giant wolves, causing them to tremble slightly and crawl down. Human, you're courting death. The giant wolf king looked at Lu Ming and said in a cold voice. The next moment, the giant wolf king's forelegs kicked, and its huge body pounced toward Lu Ming, casting a large shadow. In the blink of an eye, the giant wolf pounced in front of Lu Ming. Its sharp claws were like knives clawing at Lu Ming. Lu Ming smiled faintly. His saint power surged, and his body suddenly rushed out like a beam of light, unbelievably fast. In the next moment, Lu Ming arrived at the head of the giant wolf and smashed down with his fist. Boom! The punch landed directly on the wolf's head, causing it to wail in pain. Its huge body fell to the ground and smashed heavily into the ground. The earth trembled and the valley rumbled continuously. A huge crater appeared on the ground. Lu Ming hadn't used his full strength in this punch, so the giant wolf didn't die. It roared and struggled madly. Lu Ming stomped down, causing the giant wolf to wail. Its head smashed into the ground again, creating a huge crater. If you continue to resist, I'll kill you, Lu Ming said coldly. His entire body emitted an extremely cold killing intent. The giant wolf king shuddered. It knew that it was far from being a match for Lu Ming. If Lu Ming wanted to kill it, it would be as easy as flipping his hand. Human, what are you trying to do? The giant wolf king asked. I'm going to cultivate here for a while. After a while, I'll leave. You guys wait outside. If you don't agree, I'll kill all of you. I can still cultivate here. Lu Ming said coldly. Are you really going to leave after a while? The giant wolf king asked. Nonsense, who would be willing to stay in this lousy place for long? Lu Ming curled his lips and took a step forward, walking toward the cave in the depths of the valley. In that cave, the demonic chi was extremely dense. The giant wolf king howled several times, but in the end, it could only lead the wolf pack outside the valley. Such dense demonic chi. Lu Ming walked into the cave and raised his eyebrows. The demonic chi here was denser than he had imagined. It was almost tangible. That's a demonic origin fruit. Suddenly, Lu Ming saw a small tree growing on one of the walls of the cave. On the small tree, there were 3 pitch-black fruits. The Great Pill Development Hall focused on refining elixirs. Naturally, Lu Ming had also read a large number of books in the Great Pill Development Hall. He was very familiar with all kinds of precious medicinal herbs and all kinds of heavenly and earthly treasures. Naturally, he recognized this fruit at one glance. Demonic origin fruit was an extremely rare and precious fruit. It was very useful for demonic cultivators. Consuming it could purify demonic chi and increase one's strength. However, these 3 fruits were clearly not fully ripe yet. But from the looks of it, they were not far from ripening. According to records, demonic origin fruits can only grow in places with dense demonic chi. To be able to grow demonic origin fruits here, it's extraordinary, Lu Ming thought to himself. Then he looked around the cave. The cave was very large and led all the way inside. Lu Ming walked into the cave. Soon he made a discovery. There was a small pool. The water was as black as ink and bubbles constantly emerged. The water was filled with extremely dense demonic chi. This is a demonic pool. There's actually a demonic pool here. No wonder the demonic chi is so dense. Lu Ming revealed a look of joy. A demonic pool was the birthplace of demonic chi. There would be an endless stream of demonic chi gushing out. Although this was only a small demonic pool, the demonic chi it contained was already very dense. No wonder it could produce demonic origin fruits. No wonder there was a pack of giant wolves guarding this place. With a thought, the Heavenly Emperor's physical body appeared here. Immediately, Lu Ming operated his cultivation method to control the Heavenly Emperor's physical body and began to absorb the demonic qi here. The demonic qi here was extremely dense. The effect was even better than directly absorbing the origin stones. The surrounding demonic qi frantically gathered toward the Heavenly Emperor's physical body, turning into energy for storage. Just like that, time passed day by day. In the blink of an eye, more than 10 days had passed. The energy of the Heavenly Emperor's physical body had reached about 3%. This speed was already very fast. Back then, Lu Ming had spent more than half a year to store the energy of the Heavenly Emperor's physical body to 12%. On this day, a group of people arrived outside the valley. These people carried demonic sabers on their backs. Their bodies emitted a ferocious aura, and their eyes were like sharp blades. Counting the days, the demonic origin fruits here are about to ripen. It's time to harvest them. A burly man in the lead said. This person's aura was very strong. He was a quasi-emperor. However, there's a pack of demonic wolves residing in this valley. It's not easy to deal with them. Another person said. What's so difficult about it? This pack of ink wolves only has one quasi-emperor ink wolf, while we have 3 quasi-emperors. It's enough to annihilate this pack of demonic wolves. The burly man in the lead said coldly. That's right. Wait a little longer and we'll kill our way in. Another quasi-emperor said. These people began to wait outside the valley. Chapter 2024. Young Master, it's the demonic Saber Mountains people. What should we do now? An old man asked a young master in the clouds. This young master wore embroidered clothes and had a dignified look on his face. That's easy. Let's wait for the demonic Saber Mountains people to fight the huge wolves in the valley first. Then we can just sit back and reap the benefits. The young master smiled faintly. Young master is wise. The people beside the young master immediately flattered him, making the young master feel good. In the blink of an eye, another half a day passed. Attack! At the valley entrance, the demonic Saber Mountains leader waved his hand. Then, their figures flashed as they charged into the valley. The moment they charged into the valley, the huge wolves in the valley discovered them. Immediately, several hundred huge wolves charged at the demonic Saber Mountains people under the lead of the huge wolf king. Whoosh, whoosh. 2 quasi-emperors charged at the huge wolf king from demonic Saber Mountain. The other quasi-emperor charged at the other huge wolves with the rest of the demonic Saber Mountain. The valley immediately descended into a chaotic battle. Although the demonic Saber Mountain had fewer people, they were clearly stronger. The people here were at least great sage. Half of them were absolute sage. Under the lead of a quasi-emperor, a large number of huge wolves were killed. Under the joint attacks of 2 quasi-emperors, the huge wolf king was at a complete disadvantage. Naturally, Lu Ming heard the commotion outside. However, Lu Ming's eyes flickered. He did not go out. Instead, he continued to control the Heavenly Emperor's body to absorb demonic qi. Soon, the sounds of the battle outside gradually died down. Under the joint attacks of the 2 quasi-emperors, the huge wolf king's head was chopped off by the other party's leader. Most of the other huge wolves were killed as well. The remaining ones scattered like birds and beasts, fleeing this place. Demonic origin fruit. The demonic Saber Mountains leader revealed a greedy expression as he looked at the cave Lu Ming was in. You think you can obtain the demonic origin fruit with just you? At this moment, a cold voice came from outside the valley. Following that, a group of people charged into the valley. It was the group of people in the clouds earlier. The demonic Saber Mountains leader's expression changed. He looked at the young master's group warily and asked, Master, who are you people? Do you know this one? A pitch-black token appeared in the young master's hand. When the people of Demonic Blade Mountain saw this token, their expressions changed drastically. You are from the ancient Devil Nation. The leader of the Demonic Blade Mountain roared. The Eternal Devil Nation was a super Devil Nation. Everyone knew that there were only 2 super demonic kingdoms in the entire land of infinite demons. Each of them was shockingly powerful, and the demonic Saber Mountain had no chance against them. So it's the experts from the ancient devil nation. Excuse me. Since you've taken a fancy to the demonic origin fruit, we'll let you have it. The demonic Blade Mountain's leader squeezed out an ugly smile, feeling very unwilling. Why would my Aeon Luo nation need you to give in to me? What I want is to take it. Attack, kill all of these pieces of trash. The young man's indifferent voice sounded. Kill. The people around the young master immediately charged towards the people of demonic Blade Mountain. Charge out. The leader of the demonic Saber Mountain roared and transformed into a demonic saber, wanting to rush out. But in the next moment, 2 figures blocked in front of him. Boundary Emperors. Both of them were Boundary Emperors. What made him despair was that the other 2 Boundary Emperors of the demonic Saber Mountain faced the same situation as him. They were blocked by 2 Boundary Emperors. The young master had brought a shocking number of experts, and there were at least 6 Boundary Emperors. We've already given up the demonic origin fruit. Why are you still so ruthless? The leader of the demonic Saber Mountain roared unwillingly. Ah, what a joke. You're born in the land of infinite demons, yet you still ask such a question. Kill. The young master shouted, and his subordinates charged towards the people of the demonic Saber Mountain. The people brought by the young master were obviously stronger. Immediately, the people of the demonic Saber Mountain were killed one after another. There was no suspense in this battle. Not long after, the people of the demonic Saber Mountain followed in the footsteps of the giant wolf. In fact, they were even more miserable than the giant wolf. None of them managed to escape, and all of them were left here. In the land of infinite demons, such a battle was too common. Especially when treasures were involved, the battle would be even more tragic. Therefore, the demonic cultivators of the land of infinite demons generally had stronger combat strength. In a battle of the same level, their combat strength was probably stronger than the people of the Yuan Mountain land. The young master put away the storage rings of the people of the demonic Saber Mountain and smiled coldly, not caring at all. Then he led the group into the cave. Entering the cave, their eyes lit up. 3 demonic origin fruits. They're not ripe yet, but they'll be ripe in half an hour. An old man judged. Why is the demonic chi here rushing into the cave? Suddenly, some people discovered a problem. The demonic chi here was gathering towards the cave. This was obviously not normal. They had sent experts in to investigate and knew that there was a demonic pool in the depths of the cave. The demonic chi should be spreading towards the outside. There's someone inside. A thought appeared in everyone's mind. In particular, the young master's eyes flashed with a trace of killing intent. Let's go take a look. The young master said coldly. Everyone walked into the cave. Soon, they arrived at the demonic pool and saw Lu Ming. Billowing demonic chi was constantly gathering towards the heavenly emperor's body. After more than 10 days of absorption, the demonic chi in the demonic pool had almost dried up. This stone golem is so mysterious. It can actually absorb demonic chi continuously. The demonic chi in the demonic pool is about to dry up. Could it be that the stone golem is absorbing it all? It's a treasure. Everyone was discussing. The young master's eyes flickered with greed. Kid, you actually dare to secretly absorb the demonic chi here. You're courting death. The young master said coldly. At this moment, Lu Ming opened his eyes and casually glanced around. He spat out a word, scram. These words caused the young master's face to instantly darken. Kid, you're courting death. Young master, I'll go kill him. A burly man of the sage realm said. Cripple him first and see what secrets he has. The young master ordered. Understood. The burly man of the sage realm nodded. Then his body moved, and like a goshawk pouncing on its prey, he pounced towards Lu Ming. His claws were like knives, grabbing towards Lu Ming at an astonishing speed. Kill. Lu Ming suddenly shouted. 2 rays of sword light shot out from his eyes and charged into the body of the burly man of the sage realm. The burly man of the sage realm screamed as his body fell to the ground. After twitching twice, he stopped breathing. The young master and the others' expressions changed. With a shout, a sage realm expert had died. What kind of technique was this? Young master, be careful. This kid isn't simple. Chapter 2025. Not simple? How old does he look? How strong can he be? Is he stronger than a boundary emperor? Let's attack together and destroy his cultivation. I want him to kneel in front of me and beg for mercy like a dog. The young man roared. Kill! As soon as the young man finished his words, his subordinates stepped forward one after another. Their powerful auras pressed toward Lu Ming. You're courting death. Lu Ming shook his head slightly. He originally wanted to continue controlling the Heavenly Emperor's body to absorb the demonic qi, but now he had to stop. With a wave of his hand, the Heavenly Emperor's body was put away. Lu Ming stood up, and a powerful aura spread out. You're just a saint. A boundary emperor shouted coldly and rushed toward Lu Ming like a bolt of lightning. He attacked quickly, but Lu Ming was even faster. He pointed out with his finger. With this point, a terrifying whistling sound rang out in the space as if the space was about to be pierced through. All of the boundary emperor's attacks and defenses were fragile under this finger. No, when the boundary emperor saw Lu Ming's finger magnifying in front of his eyes, he was terrified. He wanted to dodge, but he found that it was too late. Lu Ming's finger tapped the man's glabella. A terrifying force was emitted and the man's head was directly penetrated. Under this attack, his soul was turned into ashes. Not only that, the force of the finger continued to shoot back with a wisp of blood, penetrating a few more boundary emperors. The remaining boundary emperors gasped, and their expressions changed drastically. Killing a boundary emperor with a single move. This combat strength was too terrifying. Attack together, attack together. The young man roared crazily. Boom, boom. Everyone exploded. At least 7 boundary emperors and some saints attacked. All kinds of attacks flooded toward Lu Ming. Buzz. At this moment, a halo appeared on Lu Ming's body. It was the light of chaos. This is the light of law. The light of chaos. This person is the son of chaos. The son of chaos. Many people screamed in horror. It was simply inconceivable. The young man they had randomly encountered here was actually a son of chaos, and he had even cultivated the light of chaos. Lu Ming's light of primal chaos revolved around his body. The surrounding attacks had no effect on him at all. They were all blocked by the light of primal chaos. Lu Ming's figure flashed as he charged at the 2 quasi-emperors, jabbing out 2 fingers consecutively. These 2 quasi-emperors followed in the footsteps of the previous quasi-emperor. They were pierced by the finger force and died here. Let's go, let's go. Young master, leave quickly. The remaining people roared in fear. How could they dare to continue fighting with Lu Ming? The son of chaos who had cultivated the light of law was too terrifying. They were no match for him at all. Staying behind would only lead to death. At this moment, that young master was already scared out of his wits. A quasi-emperor pulled him along as they ran outside. All of you stay, Lu Ming said coldly. As his figure flashed, he jabbed out with another finger and killed another quasi-emperor. Lu Ming moved as fast as lightning. Every time he jabbed out, he could kill a quasi-emperor. Ordinary quasi-emperors could only be instantly killed by Lu Ming. The young master had brought a total of 8 quasi-emperors. In the blink of an eye, Lu Ming killed 7, leaving only the last quasi-emperor to flee with the young master. Whoosh, whoosh. This time, Lu Ming instantly jabbed out dozens of times. The entire sky was filled with finger shadows and finger forces. As the finger forces swept out, the remaining quasi-emperors all fell here. Since these people wanted to kill Xiaochen, he did not show mercy. Furthermore, these quasi-emperors looked like they had extraordinary backgrounds. Lu Ming had just arrived in the land of 10,000 demons. If he let these people leave, they would definitely seek revenge. This would be extremely detrimental to Lu Ming's future plans. Hence, he could only kill. The quasi-emperors fell one by one. Soon, only the young master and that quasi-emperor remained. At this moment, the young master's complexion was snow-white, without any trace of blood. Although the quasi-emperor had already brought him out of the cave, they were still intercepted by Lu Ming in the valley. "Don't kill me. I'm from the ancient devil nation. Killing me won't do you any good." The young master roared. "It won't do me any good if I don't kill you," Lu Ming said coldly. Then he jabbed out a finger. A huge chaotic calamity finger was formed, crushing toward the young master and the last quasi-emperor. The young master roared and unleashed his full strength. He was in the Supreme Saint Great Success realm. Moreover, his spiritual body was a superior earth spiritual body. He could be said to be a rare genius. Moreover, he took out an emperor weapon to block with all his might. It was obvious that this person's identity was extraordinary. All the more reason he should not be left alive. The chaotic calamity finger crushed the two quasi-emperors. Their resistance was futile. Under the chaotic calamity finger, they turned into ashes. Next, Lu Ming's figure flashed and collected everyone's storage rings. Of course, Lu Ming also collected the young master's emperor weapon. Then, Lu Ming waited there for half an hour. Half an hour later, the demonic origin fruit ripened. Lu Ming plucked the demonic origin fruit and soared into the sky, leaving the place. It was not wise to stay there for long. Who knew if the forces behind the other party would come looking for him? Anyway, the demonic chi in the demonic pool was almost completely absorbed. The energy stored in the heavenly emperor's body was close to 4%. It was a great harvest. Then, Lu Ming flew at full speed toward the nearest medium-sized devil nation. A medium-sized devil nation should have a teleportation formation. The land of infinite devils was vast and boundless. It was not smaller than Yuan Mountain. Who knew how long it would take to fly to the ancient devil nation? After flying for a few days, Lu Ming, who was flying, suddenly stopped. That was because there was a purple-black-red light in front of him that was flying toward him rapidly. Lu Ming could see it from afar. It was a beautiful woman. She was wearing a tight purple dress that showed off her voluptuous figure. She was a seductive woman. But at this moment, the woman was a little panicked and was flying rapidly. Bush. Behind the woman, streaks of light streaked across the sky and flew towards her. Obviously, the woman was being chased. At this moment, the woman also saw Lu Ming. She continued to fly toward Lu Ming and said, "Help me block those people behind me. I won't treat you unfairly." Although her expression was a little panicked, there was still a trace of cold arrogance in her voice. In Lu Ming's ears, it was as if she was ordering him to do something. Lu Ming furrowed his brows. He retreated and flew in another direction, distancing himself from the beautiful lady. He was not related to the woman, so he did not want to meddle in her business. "Help me quickly. I will reward you handsomely. Whatever you need, just tell me." Chapter 2026. The young lady was being chased by the enemy. Although Lu Ming looked young and might not be that strong, as long as he could hold them off for a while, she would have a better chance of escaping. "I'm sorry, but I don't have the strength to help you." Lu Ming shook his head and retreated even faster, pulling away from the beautiful lady. Seeing that Lu Ming wasn't willing to help her, the beautiful lady could only grit her teeth and fly in another direction. Before she left, she glared at Lu Ming, as though blaming Lu Ming for not helping her. Lu Ming rubbed his nose. His goal was to go to the ancient devil nation. He didn't want to be a busybody. In the blink of an eye, the beautiful lady disappeared from his sight. The pursuers behind her also chased after her. To Lu Ming, this was just a small interlude. He continued on his way and flew towards the nearest intermediate devil nation. After a few days, he finally arrived at the outskirts of the intermediate devil nation. This intermediate devil nation did have a teleportation circle. "Where do you want to go?" A burly man in charge of the teleportation circle asked Lu Ming. "I want to go to the capital of the ancient devil nation." Lu Ming said, "The capital of the ancient devil nation? Kid, aren't you from the land of infinite devils?" Intermediate devil nations like us don't have the qualifications to teleport directly to the capital of the ancient devil nation. If you want to go to the capital, you have to go to a high-grade devil nation and go from there. The burly man said. There was such a rule? Lu Ming was speechless. It seemed like he could only go to a high-grade devil nation and go from there to the capital of the ancient devil nation. Alright, I'll go to the high-grade devil nation first. Lu Ming said. The nearest high-grade devil nation is the Yura Kingdom. I suggest you go to the Yura Kingdom first. The burly man said. Alright, thank you. Lu Ming clasped his fists and paid the teleportation fee. He then stepped into the teleportation circle. In the next moment, Lu Ming disappeared from the teleportation array and arrived at another place. Lu Ming walked out of the teleportation circle and asked around. He found that he had already arrived in the Yura Kingdom. This was a citadel outside the capital of the Yura Kingdom. The Yura Kingdom is one of the top 10 devil kingdoms in the land of infinite demons. They are extremely powerful. Why don't I go to the capital of the Yura Kingdom and ask about the eternal devil kingdom? Lu Ming pondered. The Yura Kingdom was one of the top 10 devil kingdoms in the land of myriad devils. There was no need to doubt its strength. Lu Ming wanted to see just how strong the top forces of the land of myriad devils were. That way, he would be able to judge the overall strength of the land of myriad devils. Furthermore, even if he were to go to the capital of the ancient devil kingdom right now, he wouldn't know where to start. He couldn't just run to the capital of the ancient devil nation and yell that he wanted to borrow the ancient devil coffin, right? If he did that, he would be lucky if they didn't kill him. Therefore, he needed to plan for the long term. Thinking of this, Lu Ming did not go to the capital of the ancient devil nation. Instead, he flew to the capital of the Yura Kingdom. The capital of the Dark Azura Devil Kingdom was abnormally majestic, vast. Whether it was the city walls or the buildings inside, most of them were built with a kind of pitch-black stone that was filled with a domineering aura. Lu Ming walked on the streets of the Yura Kingdom and found that there were a lot of experts here. Each of them was emitting a demonic aura and a baleful aura. Lu Ming secretly observed and found that there were many Sage Realm experts and quasi-emperors. They could even see martial monarchs emitting emperor's might walking on the streets. Lu Ming found that the quality of experts in the land of myriad devils was higher than in the primordial mountain. Kid, it's you. Suddenly, a cold and arrogant voice sounded. At the same time, a cold aura shrouded Lu Ming's body. Lu Ming frowned. The voice just now was obviously targeted at him. However, he had just arrived in the Yura Kingdom and did not know anyone. Lu Ming looked in the direction of the voice. It's her. Lu Ming was stunned. Not far away, a beautiful woman in a tight purple dress was looking at Lu Ming coldly. Wasn't this woman the one who was being chased a few days ago and asked Lu Ming for help? He did not expect to meet her here. This was too much of a coincidence. Lu Ming was speechless. The young woman's aura was very cold and it shrouded Lu Ming. It's the first princess. Who is that kid? He seems to have made the first princess unhappy. He's finished. Around them, many people stopped to watch and discussed. First princess? Lu Ming was speechless. Could this person be the first princess of the Yura Kingdom? First princess, is this the person who left you in the lurch? There were a few people beside the beautiful woman. One of them was a young man. Yes, it's him. The first princess replied coldly. At that time, he was being chased by the enemy and met Lu Ming. He asked Lu Ming for help, but Lu Ming did not help him. Fortunately, he met with reinforcements later and escaped danger. He did not expect to meet Lu Ming in the Yura Kingdom. Thinking of Lu Ming's attitude at that time, a cold light flashed in the first princess' eyes. Leaving the first princess in the lurch? I'll go and cripple him. Behind the first princess, a skinny old man said coldly. His figure moved and he rushed towards Lu Ming. A demonic palm print blasted towards Lu Ming, bringing gusts of wind with it. The first princess did not stop him. She just watched indifferently. Get lost. Lu Ming shouted coldly. He also blasted out a palm and collided with the skinny old man's palm. Boom! With a loud bang, the skinny old man's body shook violently. His body flew back at an even faster speed and fell to the ground, vomiting blood. Lu Ming had shown mercy. He had just arrived and did not want to cause trouble. Otherwise, the skinny old man would have been dead. Many people were shocked. That skinny old man was a supreme saint, but he was injured by Lu Ming in one move. This young man's combat power is not weak. Many people thought, "How dare you fight back? You're courting death." The young man beside the first princess shouted coldly. His gaze was as cold as a blade. He took a step forward and rushed towards Lu Ming like a phantom. Lu Ming frowned, and a trace of anger rose in his heart. In the wilderness, he met the first princess. He was not related to the first princess, so why did he save her? It was his freedom to save her or not. But now, the other party wanted to cripple his cultivation and even kill him because of this. How domineering! Boom! The young man attacked. He also blasted out a palm. His palm power was like a landslide, pressing towards Lu Ming. This young man was very strong. He was many times stronger than the skinny old man. Not only had his cultivation reached the peak of the Supreme Saint realm, but he also had a superior spiritual body. Get lost! Lu Ming frowned and shouted. He also blasted out a palm. Dark lightning flashed in his palm. His palm collided with the other party's palm print. The result was almost the same as the skinny old man's. Chapter 2027. Many people were stunned as they looked at the young man who was twitching on the ground. This young man was no ordinary person. He was very famous in the Yura kingdom. He was the son of the Grand Marshal of the Yura kingdom. His name was Ji Peng, and his name was known throughout the Yura kingdom. In the Yura kingdom, Ji Peng was considered one of the top geniuses among the younger generation, except for a few people with king bodies. Someone once made a list of the top 10 geniuses in the Yura kingdom, except for those with king bodies. Ji Peng was ranked 9th among the top 10 geniuses. Of course, Ji Peng was ranked after the king body, but it was still not a trivial matter. But now, Ji Peng was defeated by Lu Ming in one move. Lu Ming's strength was absolutely amazing. Who is this person? He looks very young, but he has such combat power. He's even stronger than Ji Peng. Could it be that he has a king body? It's not a king body. When he attacked just now, there was a flash of demonic lightning. It should be the law of demonic lightning, not the king body. In the Yura kingdom, apart from those with king bodies, this person can be ranked in the top 10 or even the top 8. Some of the onlookers were whispering. That's right. Lu Ming did not use the law of primal chaos, nor did he use the law of array. Instead, he used the law of primal chaos to transform it into the law of demonic lightning. He used the law of demonic lightning to cover his saint power, making him look like a demonic cultivator. The eldest princess looked at Lu Ming with surprise. Lu Ming's strength was stronger than she had imagined. At this moment, Ji Peng turned over and stood up. Cold, murderous intent erupted from his body as he roared, "Kid, I didn't use my full strength just now. Come again and I'll kill you." Ji Peng roared, and his aura became even more violent. Just now, he was careless and did not use his full strength. He did not even use his divine art, which was why he was sent flying by Lu Ming. Lu Ming frowned. He had already shown mercy, but the other party did not know when to back down. So, he could not blame him for not being polite. There was a glint in Lu Ming's eyes. "Alright, stop." At this moment, the first princess's voice rang out, causing Ji Peng to freeze. "First princess, this person is too audacious. He even dares to hit the princess's people. Let me cripple him." Ji Peng's gaze was cold. He did not want to let Lu Ming off just like that. He didn't use his full strength just now. If we really fought, you might not be his match. Both of you would only suffer. You should leave first. I have something to ask him. The first princess said. "Eldest princess, let us leave." "What if this brat makes a move?" an old man said worriedly. "You think he can hurt me?" The first princess countered. The others didn't say anything. With the first princess's strength, how could this person hurt her? "Then take care of yourself, first princess." Ji Peng's eyes flickered a few times, and then he looked at Lu Ming and said, "Kid, consider yourself lucky today. I'll spare your life." After saying that, he led the others away. "Goodbye." Lu Ming cupped his fists and turned to leave. He instinctively felt that this eldest princess was not a good person, and he was too lazy to have anything to do with her. "Why are you in such a hurry to leave?" The Grand Princess moved and chased after Lu Ming like a ray of light. She was as light as a feather. Lu Ming frowned and soared into the sky. However, the first princess also soared into the sky and followed Lu Ming. "First princess, what are you trying to do?" Lu Ming stopped and asked with a frown. "Your strength is not bad. I can feel that even if Ji Ping used his full strength to fight with you just now, I'm afraid he wouldn't be your match. Join me and be my guest." The first princess spoke, her expression still carrying a trace of cold arrogance and loftiness. "Not interested." Lu Ming turned and left. "I won't let you be my guest forever. As long as you work for me in these 3 months, you can leave after 3 months. The first princess continued to speak, but Lu Ming had no intention of stopping. A cold light flashed in the first princess' eyes. If not for the fact that she was in urgent need of talents recently, she would have already attacked Lu Ming for treating her with such an attitude. "I won't let you do anything dangerous. I just want you to help me fight against the geniuses of the Yuluo Empire 1 month later. You can name any conditions you want." The first princess continued to follow. "Oh." At this moment, Lu Ming suddenly stopped and looked at the first princess. "I can name any conditions? As long as it's not too much." The first princess said, "I want to know someone from the ancient Devil Nation's imperial family. Can you introduce me?" Lu Ming said, if the first princess could introduce someone from the ancient Devil Nation's imperial family to him, it would save him a lot of trouble and he could agree to it temporarily. Besides, the first princess only wanted to be his guest for 3 months and fight against the geniuses of the Yuluo Empire. This was not a big deal for Lu Ming, so there was no harm in agreeing. And here I thought it was something big. The Emperor of the Ionic Devil Kingdom just recently passed another tribulation of heaven and earth. In 3 months, he'll be holding a grand banquet. Countless devil kingdoms will be there to celebrate, and the serene Azura Devil Kingdom will be there as well. Of course, we'll be able to recommend you." The first princess said. Lu Ming was overjoyed. The king of the ancient Devil Nation had just passed a great tribulation and was going to hold a grand banquet. This was an opportunity for Lu Ming. "All right, I agree to be your guest, but only for 3 months. If you ask me to fight against martial monarchs, I can only refuse." Lu Ming said. "Don't worry. Why would I ask you to fight against martial monarchs?" Seeing Lu Ming agree, the first princess smiled. "Take this guest elder token." A token appeared in the first princess' hand and she threw it to Lu Ming. Lu Ming caught it and put it away. "Come with me to the first princess residence. I will arrange a place for you," the first princess said. Lu Ming nodded. The first princess residence was very spacious. The first princess arranged a courtyard for Lu Ming. It was very big and quiet. On the way, Lu Ming learned that the first princess' name was Yuning. After arranging a place for Lu Ming, the first princess left. In the next few days, Lu Ming secretly asked around and learned a lot. It turned out that when the Yura Kingdom was founded, it was jointly founded by 2 great Devil Path clans. However, after the founding of the Yura Kingdom, it became a problem as to which clan would be in charge of the Yura Kingdom. It was stipulated that every 10,000 years, the 2 clans would send out geniuses of the younger generation to fight. The winner would continue to rule the Yura Kingdom for 10,000 years. As for the first princess, Yuning, she belonged to the Yu family. The Yu family had been in control of the Yu Luo Devil Kingdom for 20,000 years. There was only a month left before the samsara that occurred once every 10,000 years arrived. The geniuses of the 2 great families would compete to determine which family would be in control of the Yu Luo Devil Kingdom. Therefore, the first princess Yuning had been secretly gathering geniuses to increase her strength. Chapter 2028. In the blink of an eye, more than 10 days passed. In these 10 days, Lu Ming cultivated in peace in the first princess residence every day. Now, his law of primal chaos had reached 97%, and his law of array had reached 99%. It could be said that he was very close to perfection, but the closer he was to perfection, the harder it was to improve. Many people's laws stopped at 99% for hundreds, thousands, or even tens of thousands of years. Even the stellar river had stayed there for a long time. To break through, one needed to accumulate. When one's comprehension of the laws was enough, success would naturally follow naturally. On this day, while Lu Ming was cultivating, Ji Peng led a few people into the first princess residence with a gloomy face and walked towards the courtyard where Lu Ming lived. Ji Peng's identity was not trivial, so naturally, no one stopped him. After arriving at Lu Ming's courtyard, Ji Peng directly kicked the door open and walked in with a gloomy face. "Lu Ming, get out here!" Ji Peng shouted coldly. In the room, Lu Ming, who was cultivating, opened his eyes, and a sharp light flashed in his eyes. Lu Ming walked out of the room unhurriedly and saw Ji Peng looking at him coldly. More than 10 days ago, Lu Ming sent him flying with a palm in public, causing him to twitch on the ground and lose face. During this period, he had been brooding and looking for an opportunity to take revenge. Later, when he heard that Lu Ming had become the first princess guest, he was even more furious. After enduring for a few days, he finally couldn't help but look for Lu Ming. "Kid, I know your purpose. You want to become the first princess guest and get close to her. Now I'll give you a chance, get out of the first princess residence." Ji Peng said coldly. "The first princess asked you to come?" Lu Ming said. "There is no need for the first princess to instruct me on this matter." Ji Peng said. "I'm the first princess guest, not yours. Since the first princess didn't ask, then who are you to make me leave?" Lu Ming replied indifferently. These words caused Ji Peng's expression to become even gloomier. "Brat, you'd better get out yourself. Otherwise, I'll break your limbs and throw you out." Ji Peng said coldly. "Scram." Lu Ming coldly spat out a word. He had already lost his patience. "Brat, what kind of attitude is that? How dare you speak to the second young master like that? I'll cripple you." Beside Ji Peng, a burly man rushed over and punched towards Lu Ming's dantian. He wanted to cripple Lu Ming's cultivation. The burly man was at the peak of the absolute saint realm. He punched out, and the terrifying fist force made the space around him shriek. Sizzle. Lu Ming circulated the law of primal chaos and converted it into the law of demonic thunder. Lightning swam around his body as though he was wearing a lightning armor. Whoosh! With a flash, Lu Ming punched out, meeting the burly man's fist. Sizzle! Lightning spread out and instantly destroyed the burly man's attack. Black lightning covered the burly man's body, and he couldn't help but retreat. Then, Lu Ming stepped forward and slapped the burly man's body. The burly man was sent flying and fell to the ground, twitching nonstop. The eyes of Ji Peng and the others glistened. Lu Ming's combat strength was stronger than they had imagined. A peak absolute saint was defeated in 2 moves. Even Ji Peng himself might not be able to do so. "Let's attack together." Ji Peng roared. His body was like a rock spreading its wings as he flew towards Lu Ming. He shook his arms and a mysterious light shone from them. They were like the wings of a rock or 2 heavenly blades. 2 rays of light shot out towards Lu Ming. This was his divine power. When he exchanged blows with Lu Ming the last time, he did not cast his divine power. At the same time, the other 2 moved as well. These 2 were peak absolute saints as well. They used their superpower to attack Lu Ming. Their attacks were ruthless. If Lu Ming couldn't defeat them, he would be killed. "Give an inch, and you want a mile." Lu Ming's eyes became colder. A long spear was formed in his hand, covered with a layer of black lightning. Bush, bush, bush. He stabbed out 3 times in a row. With 3 consecutive explosions, Lu Ming blocked the attacks of Ji Peng and the other 2. Then, Lu Ming seemed to have turned into lightning. In a flash, he appeared in front of an elder in the peak absolute saint realm. The lightning spear pierced through the elder's dantian at an astonishing speed, shattering his saint heart. The elder howled in pain and flew out. He fell to the ground and screamed. Lu Ming had already crippled this person's cultivation. Then, Lu Ming moved again and appeared in front of the remaining absolute saint. With another thrust of his spear, he crippled this person's cultivation. Ji Peng was scared out of his wits after 2 people were destroyed in a row. He quickly retreated, wanting to escape. He didn't dare to fight at all. But in a flash, Lu Ming caught up with Ji Peng. Lu Ming had turned the law of chaos into the law of demonic thunder, so its power was greatly reduced. However, Lu Ming's spiritual body and saint power were both far above Ji Peng's. Ji Peng was no match for him at all. He tried his best, but he was still crushed by Lu Ming. Lu Ming broke one of Ji Peng's arms with a palm strike. Then he broke one of Ji Peng's legs with a kick. After several explosions, Ji Peng's limbs were broken by Lu Ming. He lay on the ground like a dead dog. Get lost! Lu Ming kicked a few times consecutively, sending Ji Peng and his subordinates flying out of the courtyard. After all, this was the Yura Kingdom, the first princess residence. He couldn't kill Ji Peng. If he really killed Ji Peng, he would have to run. This wasn't Lu Ming's goal. He still needed the first princess to introduce him to the royal family of the ancient devil nation. Brat, just you wait. Ji Peng's vicious voice came from outside the courtyard. He had just said that he would break Lu Ming's limbs and throw him out. In the end, his limbs were broken and he was thrown out like a dead dog. This made him furious. Lu Ming frowned. If Ji Peng went too far, he wouldn't mind killing him and leaving the Yura Kingdom. He would think of other ways. The next morning, a group of people came to the first princess residence to meet her. Ji Peng was among the group. However, this group wasn't led by Ji Peng. It was his elder brother and one of his uncles. General Ji, Brother Ji, please take a seat. In a large hall, the first princess received Ji Peng and the others. However, her gaze was fixed on the middle-aged man in the lead and a youth with a cold expression. This middle-aged man was Ji Peng's uncle, the younger brother of the Yura Kingdom's first marshal. He was also a general of the Yura Kingdom. As for the youth, he was Ji Peng's elder brother, one of the top geniuses of the Yura Kingdom. He had a terrifying king-type body. First princess, we're here to ask for a person from you. Ji Peng's uncle said. You want a person? The first princess was slightly taken aback and frowned. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Immortal Journey YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.